Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio. We are still spilling the tea and committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman, live, direct, it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
Good morning, Cayman. Rise and shine, honey child. How are you guys doing this beautiful, and I do mean beautiful, Monday morning? I think we're in for a little bit of rain over the next couple days. I'm not trying to put my mouth in anything, but it has been an awfully quiet, extremely quiet hurricane season. So we're all watching that with bated breath, I think. And listen, no one is going to complain on this side of the Mississippi if we simply don't have any issues whatsoever this year. I mean, no major storms is something, quite frankly, that we all pray for. So let's continue to pray for that to happen. And we're good. So good morning to everyone. I trust that you guys had a good weekend. There's a lot going on in terms of news. So we are going to be restarting. We were kind of monitoring things, and because we are setting up a number of different things on this end as well, we, why am I hearing my messages pinging me when they really shouldn't be? Oh, I know which app that is. Hold on one second here. I know where it's coming through. It's a dual situation where I have, yes, I hear you, honey, chill. I have more than one thing open, so we are going to mute that. Yep, we're going to mute the app itself. It's not the page, but it's the app itself. So yes, so I just wanted to say that there's a number of different things that are sort of breaking news happening over the weekend. We're going to be obviously keeping you guys abreast of those, but you notice that we haven't done our daily news buzz in a minute. And so we're organizing all of that to relaunch here shortly as well. So once I come back from my vacation, don't forget, I go on vacation on Friday and I'm gone for all of next week. And some of you were like, oh, have Sabrina come and do the show. And you know what? She's only just begun doing her own show. And I know what it takes. I know you guys think it's easy to do what we do. We make it look easy. That's the problem. So I know how it looks. But what I'm going to tell you is it's not as easy as you think. And so she's just getting in the groove now with her own show, doing an amazing job. And so I don't want to put undue pressure on her to try to manage, 2 shows at once. In the future, maybe we can have a look at that. We'll see kind of how it goes. Because they're 2 very different shows. As you've already made the observation, I'm sure, It's a different show completely than what I do. And I love her vibe, and it's so much more relaxed, quite frankly, than mine. But it is a different show. So you're not going to get the same show anyway. So I'm not so sure that it really makes any sense. I think we all need vacations. We all need breaks. And so we'll see. There's always the option. And I think when we get to CMR radio, this is what we'll do. We will take up the option of actually rebroadcasting old shows, which I think is a great idea. So we can certainly do that. But remember now, as it stands right now, I'm paying for the airtime. Yes, honey child, that bill is sweet. Let me just put it that way. Auntie got to pay a big bill. So what I will do is just take the week off. That means that's a whole week that I don't have to pay for, which will help. But when we get our own station, then it doesn't really matter because, I'm not paying myself like that. So it will be something that we can entertain once CMR radio eventually launches. So that's the plan. Things will be a little bit different when we have our own radio frequency, and we have more flexibility in terms of the things that we do. So at that time, we can certainly re-air content and not have to pay for it. Yeah? All right. So we're still working diligently on CMR radio, CMR TV, first of all, and then the radio will roll out. We're doing it in that particular order for a couple of different reasons. Reason number one is that it allows us to get our content solidified and sorted out before we get to the radio. And the radio bit will take a little bit longer in terms of like licensing and stuff like that. Whereas a TV, that's one thing that we don't really have to do with CMR TV, is worry about any sort of licensing restrictions because of the way in which we're delivering the content. So hope you guys had a good one. No fatalities that I've heard about over the weekend, but we did see a rather serious accident that happened on, I guess that would have been early Saturday morning. And I'm going to be honest with you, I am not even sure how that person survived that accident. I mean, that car literally was split in two, and somehow they managed to walk away from it. So if you don't believe in miracles, that person should be giving thanks to somebody this morning. I can tell you that, because that is a shocking accident. The vehicle was basically split in two, it looks like, and they still managed to walk away. I haven't heard too much about how serious their injuries are. One person sent me something that supposedly their cousin said about their injuries. And all I can tell you is the person's obviously not a Caymanian. And if I was to put my money on it, I would say they're probably a Jamaican driver, because y'all know y'all drive like a bat out of hell, and kind of crazy. And so, yes, whoever you are, young man, I'm sure it's also a male driver. You need to be very, very thankful this morning. And whatever you were doing to cause that accident, I suggest you stop doing it, because it's not too often that you're going to get a second chance like that, to walk away from an accident and still, be among the living. So, take it, honey child. Take it and give thanks and make some changes to your driving behavior. I think we got to do a bit more on our roadways in terms of how we handle these types of things as well. One other point is I think it's actually about two condos, but remember on West Bay Road, there were some areas as you get closer to West Bay proper that they had actually put up cones and stuff like that. You guys complained about it. I think it was last year. The cones were removed on the instruction of the minister. So there are I think it's only about two of them, of these condos, that somehow have managed to get no parking signs put in front of them. And I already see that you guys already knocked down one. Looks like it's about to fall over. And so let me just get you a picture because you may not have seen them, but brought to my attention by a few people. And so the first thing I did was checked with NRA to see if these were legitimately erected signs, because I couldn't imagine that someone would have erected this sign without NRA's permission. And so I have confirmed that, yes, they're the ones who ejected, they are the ones who, what's the word I'm looking for? Injected. They're the ones who put the sign up because I can't get the other word in my brain right now. So here it is, no parking zone. So that is them. And this person said that basically they got a ticket. Just got a ticket thanks to these illegal no parking signs. Well, it turns out they're not illegal at all because the NRA, along with the RCIPS, erected, thank you, Anthony, Lord Jesus, it just was not coming to my brain this morning, erected this sign. So it's not illegal at all because the NRA actually put them up. No one knew about it. So because these, because the condo owners were kind of doing their own thing for a minute and NRA wasn't keeping them in check, I think a lot of you assumed that here we go again. This is them erecting these signs when in fact it's the NRA along with RCIPS that did this. So yes, for whatever reason, those particular two condos, I think it's only two because I did look at it. I believe it was not yesterday, one day last week when I was going to West Bay. Was it Friday? Anyway, Thursday, one day last week. And I only really saw it impacting two specific condos. And so, like I said, somebody already took their car to one of them or something to one of them because it's about falling over. And of course, you know that that's illegal to damage government signs and property. But nonetheless, yes, it is there lawfully. And so when you get a ticket, trust me, it's you got to pay the ticket. So we will continue to monitor that situation. I spoke to the NRA about it. They said that they would issue a joint press release with the RCIPS because that had not been done before the sign had gone up. And of course, that would have been helpful because then you guys would be messaging me saying, why am I getting ticketed for an illegal sign? Well, it was not an illegal sign after all. So there you go. All right. So these are the kind of questions that we get answered for you. Someone brought up over the weekend that the public beach, the kids' play area and other areas does not have any lighting for evening and nighttime. And they were wondering why that was the case. And I at first thought maybe this is part of the DART's deal with government because, you know, they have to maintain certain areas of the public beach facility, not maintain, but, you know, they were responsible for some of the build out. And so I did ask that question as well. And they were very, very prompt. Big shout out to the DART organization because when I message them, they respond and they were very, very prompt and very, very clear that this was actually not a matter for them, but this would be the government entities such as the Public Lands Commission and others who would be responsible for the upkeep of the property. So they build it and then government has to maintain certain aspects of it. So I really hope that you guys, government, do a better job. Good morning, caller. Hold on one second. Let me put in my headset so I can actually hear you. I was sitting here without my headset on all this time. Just enjoying myself. Okay, there you go. Good morning, my dear. How are you? Hi. Hold on one second. I still can't hear you. Hold on. I think I need to adjust some audio settings. One second. Okay, let me see here now. There we go. Hello? Morning. I still can't hear you. Okay, give me one more second. I'm going to adjust one more audio. Hello? Hi, hold on. I still can't hear you. All right, give me 1 second here. All right, give me a second. Let me see what's going on with the phone lines. I think I need to, okay, so I've made that adjustment. I have made that adjustment. I'll call you back. That sounded like Elizabeth, right? I'm pretty sure that was her. So I will give her a little dingle. Okay, let me try it again and see if I can get back to her now. So yes, the looks like I'm gonna need my foot machine this morning. Good morning, caller. Still can't hear you, girl. I can hear you, but I can't hear you. So just give me a second. Hold on. Hello? Hi. No. Yeah. So I still can't hear. Why? Cannot hear you. All right, give me a second. Let me see if it's something on my end that I need to sort out. All right, give me 1 second. Let me just double check. So this should be on Rodecaster Pro Chat. And this is, it's a bit strange why I can't hear her this morning. All right, give me a second. Okay. Okay. All right, let me try to call this caller back. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know why I can't hear her. Let's try it again. I'm not sure why. Okay. So this is a bit strange. All right. Let me try to sort that out. I don't know. Let me see what's going on. Okay. Shall I just refresh? Give me 1 second. Let me play something, and then I'm going to come out and refresh everything, and that might just resolve itself. So give me 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry. Lord have mercy. What a mess. Lord have mercy. Here, Johan, what would I do without him? Lord Jesus, take the wheel. Are we still on radio? Because gosh, the radio might have shut off by now. My apologies. I had myself muted. Yes, I was just saying good morning to everyone in any event. Thank you guys so much. Johan says, what would I do about him? Meanwhile, everybody else is like, you're muted, you're muted. I haven't gotten to those messages yet. That's what was going on. But he thinks he's my savior. Thinking a little bit of too much of yourself this morning, Johan. What would you do without me? Well, I would probably curse a little bit less. I wouldn't have to make as many brownies. And yeah, I think life would be fine without you. Just kidding, Johan. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right, Bobo. Thank you guys so much. She not even seeing us, Yeah, I was further up in the comments. I had gone back. Okay, thank you guys. Thanks, Brenly. Thank you, Carib Guy. Executive producer of the maddest show in the KY in the 345, says Johan. Oh, poor you. You wouldn't know what it would be to be executive producer. You'd have some real work to do. Okay. Yes, thank you guys so much. Hearing you now, laughing out loud. All right, got it. I got it. So listen, you're not on Bobo 103.1. BBC program is on. Ugh, is it back? Still no radio. What the what? Hold on, let me play something again. Ugh, you know what? I'm gonna play my Duppy Know Who to Frighten song because then I'm gonna give y'all a little update on something. We're gonna get early with the madness. Or shall we do the wake up song? Well, you guys are awake, so it wouldn't make sense to do that. No, let's just play the theme song. Tell your mama. Mm-hmm. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Hello? Hello, ma'am. I still cannot hear you. I don't know okay, it looks like I might have to just restart my phone. Let me restart it because sometimes it just isn't connecting. So I got to restart something. And the easiest thing to restart is the phone. So let me just restart the phone. El teléfono. And then we'll see if we can hear people on the phone lines. Are we back in radio or shall I keep playing my little song? Radio is on. Fine. Okay. Tell your brother. All right. Tell your mama, folks. Tell your mama. Tell everybody. All right. So I think we're back in radio. This is one of the things when we get CMR radio, I don't think we're going to have, I don't know what this AI tool is that shuts us off, but come on through, honey child. If we have it, we will do, thank you, ma'am. Ooh, nice and hot. So I got a hot towel for my foot. Ooh, yes, sir. Ay, caramba. So I don't think that we will have it certainly as sensitive as this particular one is. I see the logic of having it because what you don't want to happen is to have dead air for like no reason. So I do understand why they do it, but I think it's just a little bit extra sensitive. So we won't have it quite as sensitive. So it's always shutting people off. Okay, honey, chill. All right, so let's see now. All right, Miss Margie, I see you found us this morning. Good. Remember what I told you? You can always go to that live link on Facebook and find us. YouTube is easy to find us as well. Okay. And you can listen on YouTube whether you have an account or not. Johan says he's going to Radio Moscow. He's referring to Radio K-Man. He's so bad. All right, so let me see here now. So big shout out to our national carrier, Cayman Airways. I do have a video that I'm going to put up about trying their new beverage that they have on the plane that tastes different in the air. I told you guys about this. This was really fun to check that out. And I actually interviewed some people as well to see what they thought about it in the lounge. And they were like, pretty good. So I will give you guys that information as well. So I've been pretty busy, as you guys know, doing a lot of stuff in relation to CMR TV. And I kind of had an idea about something, but I don't know if I should surprise you guys with like the first episode or tell you from now. Do you guys like surprises, or you just want me to tell you from now? I hate surprises, actually. Not that I hate surprises, but I like to be in the know. So anytime somebody tells me they have a surprise, I'm like, shall I start digging? I'm one of those people that's probably better that you don't tell anything. Like, don't tell me you got a surprise or something like that, because I'm already investigation mode activated. Detective Sandy in the house, you know? And Margie's like me. She's like, I like to be in the know. So do I. I don't want to be like not knowing what's going on. So we were still filling out the TV guide for, the show. And actually last night I was doing it like in a guide format and everything. Let me see if I can show you guys kind of what it looks like. Where did I save that document? So this is going to be pretty cool. Yeah. So this is the show lineup so far. And I think more shows will come on board. We've had churches reach out that they want to have some of their content. And so this is what we're looking at. We have a lot of evening time stuff. Now we need stuff like midday, during the day. So I'm working at all of those things. So listen, it's still early days. If you want if you want to be part of the CMR TV team, by all means, come on board. This is going to be an amazing project. I'm very, very excited about it. Hey, Glenn, how you doing? He says, dish the tea. So as I was sitting there last night thinking about additional content that we could do, I love comedy. I'm not so sure that I'm particularly good at it, although some of you tell me I am. I don't know. I have like a dry sense of humor. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anywho, I think you guys just laugh at me when I tell people off. But I was thinking about an actual like comedy show. And so here's my thought process. I haven't worked out the scripting or those details yet. But I'm always talking about Aunt Lottie. She's become a feature of the show, whether she wanted to be or not. I actually had a dream about her again last night. Lord Jesus, I dream about this woman sometimes a lot. The dream last night, I'm not going to get into any details, but it was very, very detailed, as my dreams are. And so I'll tell some of you off air so you can interpret it for me. But anyway, I did have a dream about her, and it was a little bit on the wild side. Yeah. So anyway, I am thinking about reincarnating her in a way. So I am going to don my wig and curlers. I'll have to do a wig because I can't be putting my hair together to do every single episode. So I'm thinking a wig and curlers, and I will do a show where I'm Aunt Lottie. And the premise of the show is you guys will like send in questions, I think is how, this is kind of what I'm leaning towards. Like you guys will send in questions, and then Aunt Lottie is going to give you life advice based on the questions that you submit. So that's going to be a show. I don't think we can do a full hour show. So it's probably going to be like a 30-minute show, and it'll fill some of the time, like in between some of the other shows. So let me know what you think of the idea. That's where we're going with this. And I don't know of the name yet, exactly of what we're going to call it, but I thought it would kind of be fun, like to dial back and get, advice from a senior. And although she was Caymanian in a way, she actually never really, really lived in the Cayman Islands for any substantial amount of time. So she was very Southern. So I think I'm going to try to mix it up a little bit between like Caribbean, Caymanian advice and a little bit of Southern flair to it as well. She had that Southern drawl. So yeah, tell me what you think. Aliano says comedy comes from the soul. Me, I'm not that funny, only funny looking. Oh, Lord have mercy. So yes, Aunt Lottie's show coming to the airwaves pretty soon. Glenn says it's already funny and I didn't know her. Dotting the I's. Yeah, she was quite the character. Let me tell you something. I think it's gonna have to be like an evening show though, because it might be a little bit spicy. Because despite her being this lovely Christian lady, she was very like She didn't hold anything back. She would embarrass you. Like, oh my God, some of the conversations were just like too much. But anyway, yes, I'm going to bring her personality to life, I think, a little bit more. Very, very conservative. Those of you half naked in the streets, she would definitely not approve of that kind of behavior. So I'm going to tell you. Big shout out, by the way, to Michael at the cinema. Michael is a young man who works there, very, very friendly guy. So we went to see the Smurfs yesterday with the kids. I only have one, but Melanie and I went with her daughter, Parker, and I fell asleep in the movie. Oh, I'm so shameful. Those seats are so comfortable. Thank you for the VIP section. I totally fell asleep. And so Michael brought when you order food in the VIP section, they bring it from the front. So he brought her little snacks and whatever for us. And he said, oh, Miss Sandy, somebody was telling me how you were mixing me up. I was in KMAS and you were mixing me up with somebody from 345. And I said, oh, really? And so he pulled out the screenshot. You guys are so into it that you actually sent him the screenshot. And he's like, yeah, this is actually me. And you were thinking it was everything 345 guy. And I said, oh, wow, Michael, look at you all buffed up and rippled from the gym. Mess with you, honey jail. So good for you. And I said, well, look at you. At least you had on clothes. You actually looked good. Keep going to the gym, young man. All those chest muscles, keeping you fit and young. That's good stuff. So he was like, yeah, that's me. And I said, well, I will acknowledge that I got the wrong person. This is you. Okay. And I said, look, at least you had on nice shorts covering your manly parts. And we appreciate that because we don't need to be seeing all them things on the streets, honey Jill. TB Parkinson says, Auntie Lottie Hill. Natty Nash says, love it. Life with Aunt Lottie. Those were the days. Some trying times indeed. Good morning. I'm picturing a Caymanian Medea. What would Aunt Lottie do or say? Show. Oh, yes. What would Aunt Lottie do? Like some different scenarios and stuff. Another person says Aunt Lottie's wisdom. I like that one too. What morning? The car that split in two is Caymanian. That was a Caymanian driver. Well, how come we haven't heard who it is? Who his mama is? Who he for? Who is Mama B? Child, y'all better tell me because he is one fortunate young man. All right, so listen, we got to get back to Poinciana part 3. And so a couple things that I want to say is that, now we're in emergency mode and things need to be fixed. We do have former Minister of Health and Wellness, Sabrina Turner, who's going to be joining us. Ooh, I like this one. Carib Guy says, Aunt Lottie knows best. I see where this is going, a contest to name the show. Ask Aunt Lottie, says Jim. I like it. So yes, we've been delving into Poinciana Point. I'm going to be telling you guys that people listen to the show. And not only do people listen to the show, but people listen to the show and things actually happen. So I've got one good thing to tell you guys this morning. But before we get into that, let's use our good Caymanian manners and welcome the former Minister of Health and Wellness, but most importantly, the host of Sabrina Speaks. Good morning, Madam Sabrina. How are you?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. And I can't believe you're really getting me back into this morning thing, which I'm converting now to being a night owl. But you are insisting that misery loves company.
Yes, why not? Why not? I spoke to someone this morning. They said, well, you sound bushy-tailed and bright-eyed.
And I'm like, that was not me. I'm usually up and just ready to go, but I'm just programmed now for the day and going all night pretty much. So yeah, mornings and me are a struggle.
It's all good. It's all good. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was great. I did exactly what Chance did. I pretty much relaxed, spent some time with family, and just took care, did some self-care, long overdue. And but I did whatever I wanted, which is why I like not wearing a watch.
You don't wear a watch?
What? I haven't worn a watch since October. No.
Whoa.
No, I haven't worn a watch. No.
I feel naked when I don't have a watch. Like I don't wear watches at home, oddly enough. But once I go out, it's like part of my wardrobe. Like I have to put on a watch. Like literally, I get to the top of the road and I forgot my watch. I turn back and I put it back on
No,
because
I
I feel
haven't.
naked without it.
No, it
Oh,
is just, if you have appointments, then you put it in your
yeah,
phone alarms. But in between that, it's
liberating.
like I like to just be spontaneous and enjoy what life has in
Mm,
store. I rolling with the rhythms of the universe right now. It's a good feeling. Good place to be at,
mm.
actually.
So that's the young man that was in an accident. Oh my gosh. Whoa, he is very fortunate. I wonder how bad his injuries are. Y'all need to slow down and stop drinking and driving because there's only two things that can do that kind of damage to a car. You guys saw the damage, and I'm telling you, that car was literally split in two. So, young man, you are very, very fortunate. Your parents are not mourning your loss this morning because, honey, let me tell you something. This is
Much as
madness.
God was on that individual.
Oh
Yep.
my God. Trust me. I'm trying to find pictures of it because we had a bunch that came through, but that car was decimated. It was pretty crazy. He's alive, but has some cuts in his face and some broken ribs. If that's it, he's still very, very fortunate.
He's
So, young
blessed.
man,
He's
oh,
blessed.
beyond. Young man, please take it easy. Wow. All right. Well, we're glad to see that he's okay. I got to be honest with you. Most of the crazy driving, sorry, Jamaican friends, but it'd be y'all out here thinking that you're in the Kingston Highway, and Cayman just is not built for that kind of madness.
I said I would never drive in Jamaica. And then recently I've been seeing
Saying
the
that about
type of
Cayman?
driving that is going on here in Cayman. And I'll be like, I don't think we're very far off.
Nope. I'm going to show you this car, Sabrina, because I don't know if you saw this, because this is legit. Like half the car is in the bushes and the other half was on the street. And I just thought for sure nobody was walking away from this. So the fact that this young man somehow managed to walk away, I think is like you said, he had several angels
Oh, yeah.
on his shoulder. Look at this.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't see that
That's
one.
half of the vehicle.
You sure that wasn't after the jaws of life?
It
would be good to know. Because, if he had to be rescued.
Maybe they just cut him out.
Yeah.
No. But that wouldn't make sense because how did this part get in the bushes?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Like the car is literally in two different places.
Jesus.
Pretty wild. Yeah.
If I were him, I would live at some church door, literally just giving thanks.
Mm-hmm. Trust me.
And you would think other people would look at this and they would try to curtail their behavior and on the roads, but it's just another headlines and they go back to doing the same thing. That's what I'm observing.
It's so crazy. It's like people don't value their lives. I mean, I don't know why, but me? Oh no, I love life too much. I want to be here with you guys every single day.
Correct.
So and my daughter. I mean, this is so crazy. But young man, somebody need to keep praying over him because I don't know. This was some kind of divine intervention, honey.
Yep.
Yeah, but this is pretty wild. But yes, he managed to walk away from this accident. And I mean, look, let me show you another angle of this car because literally they're like wires hanging out of the vehicle. That's just how crazy it is. So the tow truck took away two pieces of vehicle when they grabbed this car.
Jim has a good question. What did it hit to split in two?
I'm assuming a light pole.
Oh,
that's the only thing that would make logical sense. But look at this. Like I'm trying to figure out certain parts of it. Like look at that. Is that the engine?
No. Oh, you mean on the inside?
On the top, yeah. Probably not. I guess the engine is still attached to the front of the car, but isn't that crazy? Another Honda, of course, because y'all have these Hondas and be driving them like a bat out of hell. But look at this seat. Look, that's part of the seat. I guess that's the back seat. Look at all the wires and internal parts of the car. I mean, like I said, this to me is astonishing that he walked away from this. Absolutely shocking. Even the bit that's in the bushes, look.
Mm-hmm. Ugh.
Look at that. Boy, wow.
And that's a house or a structure in the back there?
That's some kind of thing that he hit. I don't even know what. But yeah, he hit something there. Or he hit, well, these are the trees and stuff. He just went right through it. There's the muffler on the ground. This is when you survive something like this, you have to look at life and think there's a reason, there's a purpose that is much bigger than me, why I'm still here. And I hope that this young man can think about that and maybe, see how he can be of better use to his community, because this is something else. Good morning, caller. Morning, sir. How are you?
It's very low, Sandra.
Are you hearing Mr. Dexter? Okay, everybody, hold on one second.
Low.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Dexter. Let me make one little adjustment here. How about now? Go ahead, Mr. Dexter. Oh, hold on, honey chat. Hold on. I think what I did was in my audio settings actually muted you earlier. Hold on one second. Let me just. I need to get to my audio settings, which requires me stretching my neck a little bit. Hold on one second. I'm coming to you. I think I know how to fix this one. All right, coming to come. Volume mixer. And then I need to unmute this. Hello, Mr. Dexter. Can you hear him now? No, you can hear me, but they can't hear you. That's the problem. Oh yeah, honey child. Hold on. How about now?
He has to speak.
Anybody can hear Mr. Dexter? How about now? Good morning, Mr. Dexter. No? I mean, I can hear you, but I think they can't hear you is the problem. Nothing. Do you hear me now? How about now? Anybody? You and I can hear each other, but nobody else can hear you. All right. Let me see here. Call the regular line, 936-2626. Try that one. Okay. Yeah. I can hear him, but not 936-2626. Yeah, I think I muted like one of these options for him. He was coming through my WhatsApp. Let me actually close it and restart it. WhatsApp beta. Okay. Let me see. Let me see, honey chill. WhatsApp beta. So yes, there he goes. Good morning, Mr. Dexter. Oh, Lord have mercy. We're not meant to hear anybody this morning but ourselves. Hold on.
Pull me out and see if it'll work.
No, this is
purpose,
Oh, there he is.
There you go.
Now I can hear you. At least
now
on
you
this
can hear
line.
me?
Yes, sir.
Sunday, it never ceased to amaze me why these people are driving so fast. I mean, how long does it take to get from West Bay to Georgetown? And, as you get older, I drive with more caution because I got more intelligence not to put myself, jeopardize my well-being or my or anything about myself. So I get people, they're giving me the finger and tooting their horn at me. So now what I did, I put in the back of my car, the driver is old, I can't see your finger, and I can't hear your horn. Have a nice day. And now people are driving right behind me, and they're laughing their head off. But
Wow.
anyway, it's so sad that these young people, because I don't see an older person doing that. It's the younger people. They think they're invincible. The car is not dangerous. It's the driver.
Yeah.
It's how did he ever pull out of that?
It's crazy. It really, when you look at it, I mean, El Rey says, well, the front section of the vehicle is pretty much intact, in particular the driver's side. So the driver was in no real danger. I wouldn't say that. I mean, you got shattered glass, you got the windshield busted. He could have easily been killed in this. I've seen people with a vehicle that was less damaged than this not walk away from it. So I don't know. I think he was in danger. All right. He's just, like I said.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he better give his life to God.
Yep.
Because forget about the church. Give his life to God, because God was guiding him.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation. That was in luck. That's a miracle that he pulled out of that.
Absolutely. I agree with you. That's something.
Anyway, Sandy, you take care.
Thank you, darling. Have a good one.
Okay, bye.
All right. So, Blessed, good morning. We got a few people still checking in with us. So, let me say this. Let's go ahead and get into the conversation, because I know on Friday we had a bit of a diverge in the conversation, and the reason why we had to go in that direction was obvious to you guys. I'm still waiting for the RCIPS. They claim now they have to investigate. You know how long their investigations take, what happened, and they will be getting back to me. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Not bad. How are you?
Good.
Yes.
So from that mark on the roadway, if the car made that mark, I figured out how the accident happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, long time.
Tell me.
No, I can't do that because it might jeopardize the investigation.
Well, I don't think the investigators are listening to CMR.
No, I can't do that.
Would you say? Well, I mean, listen. Are they gonna be calling on you for expert testimony?
No, but they might come and ask me for some assistance. I can't tell. No, let me give you a little clue. I can see that this accident happened on a curve, and every curve has all curves have a maximum. Just a minute.
Okay.
All curves have maximum speed limit.
Yes.
It's called critical curve speed. Critical curve speed is maximum speed at which a vehicle can maximum speed limit as a vehicle can exceed. Let me quickly explain it for you. All vehicles, it doesn't matter how fast you think you can exceed, go around this curve. Some people believe they can go around this curve at high speed. It doesn't work for you, whether you think you're driving a BMW or a Tesla, whatever you think you're driving.
Well, it's even worse if you're driving a Tesla, because remember, they don't have an engine to slow down the car, so they go very, very fast. Any electric vehicle, you have to be careful with. So
critical curve speed is the maximum speed at which a vehicle can safely negotiate the bend without side slipping or veering off the curve. You can see this vehicle veer off the curve into the bushes.
Yeah, he was just going too fast, regardless of what else might have played. We don't know if alcohol was, played a key figure in this or not. But I think it's safe to say that he was going too fast.
Yes, he exceeded the maximum.
Yes.
The critical curve speed, that's what I want to say.
Yes.
Yes, he exceeded the critical curve speed of the bend.
Okay, thank you.
That mark you're seeing on the road surface there, called a yaw mark, Y-A-W. So the guy's going to use that yaw mark to determine the see that which the world going.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
We appreciate it. Have a good day.
Yes.
All right. So if you guys think that that was the only accident this weekend that made you go, huh? Somebody walked away from that. I'm going to show you one more, and then we got to get into Poinciana Rehabilitation Center. But look at this one. I'm going to mute this because I can't remember exactly what the woman says, but she's like, oh my God, he's walking away from that. This one was, look at the pole. This one was, I think, a couple weeks ago on the waterfront. But did you see that light pole, Sabrina? Look.
I
right
see
there.
what's hanging in the air. I'm still looking. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. The top piece of the light pole is there. The rest of the pole is completely gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is so crazy. I haven't seen that either before, but look, split the light pole, not just split it, but took away the whole light pole. And look at that.
That's by Lobster Pot.
Yeah. Yep. People, slow down for the love of God, please. This is crazy.
Oh, hold on. Isn't there a cement wall or something there?
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
So they were airborne?
Let me see. I don't know how they split that. I do not know. Girl. And I think this is the guy walking away from it or something. Somebody was telling me. This person actually got out and walked away. Like really walked away. So the message we got from the person who shared that was like, yeah, Miss Sandy, this person just walked away. I was like, huh? How? So this one was June the 27th. This person said, hey, Sandra, at Popo Job's, a massive accident just happened. This was 11:52 p.m. The guys just ran from the car. The police responded within seconds. I'm so impressed how quickly help arrived on the scene. They were driving down from Georgetown towards West Bay on the left and revved up before they collided with the concrete barrier and electric pole. Thank God no pedestrians were walking in that area. So crazy. I mean, for a little island, a couple square feet, like this is crazy. Come on, people.
But you know what's
Slow
interesting?
down.
With all of these MVAs, we never hear the outcome after the investigation.
Yeah, because you kind of have to be following it and put it together.
Court, I guess.
Because, eventually they might end up taking them to court for dangerous driving or whatever. And there's not a whole lot of focus on reporting those types of cases. But I can tell you that list, the traffic list in court is the longest list of all. It's just absolutely unbelievable how reckless people are.
But it's like I said, I mean, it's on to the next headlines. Are we going to change our behaviors as we use the roadways? It's sad because they go back to their same practices.
Yeah. So pretty crazy. Anyway, folks, Damien says, yes, critical curb speed, just slow down. And like I said, if you're dealing with an electric vehicle, you need to be even more careful because they don't have the weight of like an engine and stuff to, slow them down. They're extremely fast. And I can testify, having driven a Tesla, that, you can go 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds, kind of flat. And they have like an accelerated mode where it actually throws you back in the
G-force in that is something else. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So slow down, folks. Most y'all
I'll leave mine to Disney World.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll do it or just go on the racetrack there. There's I think at MGM Studios, there's a ride there that you could actually go on a track and you can get those G's if you're that into
if you're
thrills.
Into speed. Need for speed, as they say.
Yeah.
So last week we were talking about Poinciana Rehabilitation Center a couple days. And we talked about one thing on, I think that would have been Tuesday's show, as I recall, that was very, very concerning. And that was accusations around a worker that was harassing mostly the female workers, sexually harassing the female workers. Now, of all the places that you work, a mental health facility shouldn't be a stressful environment from the perspective of your coworkers. Like you shouldn't go there and be sexually harassed, physically abused by coworkers and so on. But that's exactly what had been happening. And so I want to thank Miss Real Towna for bringing this to our attention. I'm assuming Real Towner is a woman, but I thank you for bringing this to our attention during the show based on your comments. And I called out Poinciana Rehabilitation Center on this. And I said, listen, we're not going to tolerate this. Complaints had been levied against this individual. And unfortunately, they had fallen on deaf ears. I don't know who's managing Poinciana, but they're not doing a particularly good job at all. In fact, they are like legitimately failing. And so I was very, very, very disappointed to hear that this guy, and I'm going to tell you guys his name because look, now he's going to go out there and probably find another job and do order. And so, lots of people are talking about workplace safety and health and harassment. And this guy, who is, I think, one of the PNAs, had been reported by multiple women for, his behavior. And so these concerns were brought to the attention of management, and management actually did nothing about it. Vincent Bodden, ongoing harassment by Vincent Bodden, and he is a colleague to some of these women. And he has been doing the most inappropriate behavior. And they were talking about how, concerned they are about his behavior. And it wasn't one woman, it wasn't two women, it was multiple women. And they have said that his behavior did not improve. His comments were becoming increasingly inappropriate as he began expressing sentiments such as, I miss you and I wish you could, I could just hold you now. I mean, just totally inappropriate. Where's that sexual harassment legislation? Completely inappropriate, disgusting comments, quite frankly. And he's like waiting for them at evening hours, just making them very, very uncomfortable. And so I understand that he has a history. He's going around telling people that, he's with someone, but they're just, he's merely having children for his partner, or they're having children for him, I guess. And he's not like in a relationship, and just really deeply disturbing behavior that this man was engaging in, crossing a lot of boundaries and harassing women. So what is so incredibly interesting about this is the women were even requesting, to not work with him because of his behavior. And I think there's another guy there too that we're going to be talking about, but I'm going to get some more details on him. But I brought this up, and I can tell you that the ministry, going back to what Sabrina said the last time she was with us, is that the ministry had no knowledge that this was going on. And so they learned about it, just like the rest of you learned about it right here on CMR. And they were like, what on earth is Sandy talking about? Yeah, they're like, this Vincent dude has been sexually harassing people. So they knew nothing about it. But I can tell you that as a direct result of that show, action is finally, Real Towner, now being taken, and Vincent will be finally dealt with. So can we get an applause and an amen? Yeah. Where's my applause button? I got one applause. I got one up in here somewhere. Let me see where I put it now. We got to update our buttons as well, Sabrina. Where's the applause button? There it is. Oh God. Oh, that's so loud.
I think they prefer the kabooms.
I know. There we go.
There you go.
So yes, and we do have some other men there. There's at least one more that I understand that is also a problem, but I'm getting some more details on him as well. Can you imagine? Now, if they have the audacity to sexually harass coworkers, imagine what they're going to do to patients who are there for mental health reasons. Like, listen, I'm not saying that men can't go in there and be professional and do their jobs, but you have to be extremely careful. There has to be a real vetting process of these individuals, because they are in an environment where women and men are extremely vulnerable. So the last thing you need is someone who has a predatory history of harassing women or men in the workplace. So I'm begging the authorities to pay very, very close attention to who you hire and make sure that they're going through, a proper and rigorous vetting process. My
But
goodness.
for the matter of this conversation, if a clean police record was a part of the due diligence, and let's say there was no convictions levied against this individual, then how would one know without persons being vocal and reporting it?
Oh, let me clarify something. Someone said, who's Vincent Bodden? The one you mentioned last week is Philip Bent. Like I said, there's more than one. So maybe I'm now confusing the names. But Philip, I understand, Philip is the one who they're dealing with. Whoever I mentioned last week, Philip. Vincent Bodden might be another one too. Like I have a lot of notes here. I need to go through my notes. But there's multiple ones that have been reported. So, but the point really, my apologies, Minister, is that
No more. No more.
is that these things had been reported and nothing had been done about them.
Correct.
These women were still subjected to being in this environment.
Correct. But I mean, from the onset of looking at recruiting persons, unless people really get a conviction, until it actually happens again, unfortunately, and the staff in this case makes reports, you would never hear all of this conversation.
And they were making reports. You better believe it.
You see what I'm saying? But
The
yeah, look at
HR
what it took.
manager not doing anything.
Yeah.
The director not doing anything. So, and in fact, some of this had gone to the Ministry of Health, to the HR manager. But again, of course, the minister didn't necessarily know anything about it.
No, there are lots of things that a minister does not know. And it appears, let's first break it down. When you are like the director of a department, which in this case, the director would be Miss Marcier, there's certain managerial, like she has her own team, the HR person, and certain things. There's a lot of stuff that they should handle in-house. Now, when they meet with the chief officer, from what I understood, they should give reports as to what's happening. But there are times that the chief officer themselves are unaware of what's happening in some of the departments. So what do you think is going to happen then with the minister? Because all that is being discussed here right now with this unfortunate incident, even though it's a national topic of national importance, do we have the right legislation in place in order to hold these people accountable? Is there proper policies and procedures, which goes back to the policy arm? The minister hears about it just like on forums like yours. Many a times until people come to us as sitting cabinet ministers, we are oblivious as to what's going on because it's operational. We're depending on the team, your ministerial team, to update us accordingly in the event a member of the public or it ends up being a topic on a show that we're not blindsided. That has happened before. And you're like a deer in headlights. And honestly, that's the first time you're hearing about it. It happens all the time.
So Vincent is another one that has had complaints levied against him. Philip, yes, but also Vincent has also had complaints levied against him. So,
So it's separate internally now to be dealt with. They should either be suspended until a proper investigation is going on, right, and then take it from there. But that also requires cooperation and written statements from the victims, so, and how quickly they deal with this, whether or not they're even capable of dealing with it, not to question one's ability. But what I'm saying, when you're getting HR, understanding the laws here, and like what you said, there are policies, the sexual harassment policies and all this sort of stuff, all of those things ties in for a healthy workplace environment.
Here's what somebody said. They said, what needs to be talked about is the Jamaican PNAs that's there, married and looking. The Caymanians, they're supposed to have two there now, Rayon and Adniki. He's married, he's a married man, and she's the matey, kissing and loving up on the compound on phone all day and not doing their job. The Caymanians are fed up and all of this is ignored. Charlotte Brown needs to be fired because right now The director is away on vacation, and she's the acting director until she too takes another extended vacation. Vincent Bodden uses his 300-pound size to fool people into thinking that he's this innocent fat guy, teddy bear syndrome, that means you no harm, to be nasty, and he'd be willing to cross the line at any point. If given the opportunity, and even when there is no opportunity, he crosses the line. And some of the staff there are having to seek professional psychological help because they're being traumatized at work by their own coworkers.
Oh, wow.
And the director is aware of all of this. Can you imagine? Unbelievable.
Well, it's up to the ministry
Unwanted
now.
communication.
Yeah, it's up to the ministry now to pull them in to really get a grip on this, because this is not going in the right direction.
Hostile. Yeah, because imagine these are the same people who then are required to take care of your loved ones who are having mental health issues. But if they themselves are having stresses at work like this, how can they help your people? Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. It is like next level insane. So I think it's going to have to really start, it's going to have to start with the management. Sounds like management has to go.
That's a serious management thing that's going on there. Like I said, because it is operational, you're going to keep hearing these terms over and over again. The minister now probably, or someone highlights this to her, she will then go and ask, but then there's a certain line as well. We'll get back to you, Honorable Minister. Don't worry, we're on it. What you gonna do? Just hope it doesn't come up in a conversation.
Yeah, someone's asking if anyone's aware of what's happening with the traffic in the Bodden town area, because traffic is backed up, and it shouldn't be because all the kids are out of school. So if you guys are aware of what's happening with traffic, by all means, let me know. I haven't heard of anything, so I don't know yet if there's an accident or something else that's happening. Someone else confirmed that picture wasn't after the jaws of life. The fire reached the scene and found the vehicle just like that.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
Jeez.
All right, someone said, I say let's do a poll and vote to see who would want the director gone. She needs to go, and now. Well, here's what else is going on there. Did you guys know that she's hired her own daughter to work there? Top nepotism. The director of Poinciana Rehab has somehow hired her own daughter recently to work at the facility. So, yeah, that's a hot mess.
Did I not use that term, I think, on the very first show? Nepotism?
Oh my gosh.
And I had no clue of that. I had no clue of that.
Yeah. Yep. So imagine hiring your own daughter to work in a facility. And yeah, it's just...
That's crazy. Why would you want to expose yourself to that? Isn't that one of the questions that is asked on government, even private, in the private sector? Do you have any relatives already working in an organization? There's a reason for that question. Why would you want to do that? I'm so disappointed.
Yeah. You see, this is when there's no oversight, when there's a free-for-all. When they can call in, or when they can go and get hired in a position like this and do whatever they want, and they know the ministry is not paying attention. So yes, hiring family, hiring friends. So someone said that one of the island paving trucks was stopped in the middle of the road with a lowboy trailer. It is now moved. So traffic has freed up. So hopefully traffic will start flowing again. Thank you so much for the traffic update. But yes, my dear, this is what we're dealing with. It is unbelievable. Nepotism at its best. And so, the Caymanian staff are saying that They're just sick of this. Like they're not asking for any kind of special treatment. They're just saying, listen, we need fair treatment. We need all of the workers, the foreign workers, to stop coming in here trying to hire friends and family members who we don't even now know if they're properly qualified to be in the job. And yet they're there getting jobs that Caymanians should be getting, and they're not getting. I don't make it up. So I wanted to go back and talk a little bit about how Poinciana got started and where we are now in terms of, hold on one second, where we are now with trying to sort of rectify this situation. So it was never meant to be an acute center. And that's one of the things I think that a lot of people, we talked about this last week, a lot of people probably didn't know. So Cayman, outside of the couple hospital beds, I guess at the HSA, Cayman does not have a proper acute center at all.
No.
That's concerning. And it shows that the long-term plan around mental health has never really been there. And so that is something in my mind that requires some sort of immediate rectification. Now, immediate is probably going to be years later, because you can't just build a center as you see overnight. So which
is why you saw them sending persons off to facilities in the US and
or Jamaica.
Yes, because we just did not have the capacity, and some patients' acuity, how acute they were, not even here could handle them, because they would have really needed longer term intervention at that acute stage. That one, we did not have the space that was conducive, and two, remember when Poinciana got started, it was looking at, which is why it's rehabilitation, for integration eventually into society. And we know that some people would never, for a number of reasons, be able to be reintegrated into society. Then there were facilities for them to stay there long term. But upon trying to be in my role, I picked up immediately that, the acuteness in cases that were coming in, which had even been reported by those rendering care of the patients that were being admitted, that it was through the roof. And there was a void in capacity at the HSE for that. Which is why I described it, for people to understand it more. You almost need like an intensive care, which is your acute. Then you need like a general ward. And almost one before even getting to Poinciana, based on why Poinciana came about in the first place. Which is why you don't have a fencing around it or nothing like that. So no, Poinciana was never in the business case, intended for acute cases and holding persons that were offenders of criminal offenses. So it wasn't a place for prisoners with mental health issues as well. Yeah. So someone here says, Damien says, I thought that was against government protocol and hiring practice. Well, I'm pretty sure that government doesn't even know that is her daughter, because normally how it works is people coming from overseas will have different names. So it's not obvious to them who she is. But yeah, hired her own daughter. The question was asked, not just saying, now hypothetically speaking, do you have any family member working with the Cayman Islands government? It would be interesting how that question was answered. Yes. If it's a question on the application for Poinciana, because we don't even know. We don't even know. But yes, so that is definitely one of the areas of concern. And it's just really, really sad, because again, a lot of the allegations are that even a lot of her former colleagues from where she worked are now being hired. Shaka says that should be grounds for dismissal if will this potential nepotism be investigated? Well, I certainly hope so, because this is the sort of thing that, needs to be investigated. We can't have this sort of behavior happening at this facility. I love your 849 comment. So, who's that? A thinker? Oh, yes. Yeah, they better keep thinking. Thinker says the previous minister trying to absolve herself of her responsibility and talking about separation of duties is wild. She failed the people that came in Islands and now wants to be polished and cute.
You know what is so funny, Sabrina, is the fact that people don't pay attention. Because even when you were in office from day one, as soon as you grasp how it works, you've been saying this, that this separation of power exists. And there have been people who did not adhere to the separation of powers, such as Bernie Bush, and he was held accountable and demoted because of it. Now, I think it was Miss Brenda last week who said, oh, well, she's known of other people who didn't follow the separation of power. That might be true, and maybe previous governments did nothing about it. But as we know, with the Pat government, Mr. Wayne Panton, who was premier at the time,
he held us accountable.
Exactly.
He held us accountable.
They were the first government ever to actually sign a code of conduct. Mm-hmm. So there were expectations on them that no other government in the history of the Cayman Islands had ever been held to account. And they were held accountable. First time that a deputy premier was fired from his job for sexually harassing women. But he was fired. Despite what he wanted to claim, he was fired. None of that level of accountability thinker has ever happened before within government. So if you go in there and you learn the rules, and you know that the rules say, this is how in the Constitution it works, and you don't do it that way, your job is potentially on the line. So why would you think? And like I said, had you been listening to Sabrina from day one, she's actually said this. I've lost count. I've had $1 for every time she's talked about the separation of powers. Yes. But she was saying it when she was in office. So this isn't anything new at all.
And you've had persons on here using the same terminology, breaking it down and all of that. And it's as though people are just not understanding what that means, because you elect your politician, your in this case, the person from your constituency, mm-hmm. and you think the buck starts and stops with them. Mm-hmm. And that may have been the case many moons ago, but it is not the case today.
Yeah, let me clarify. It's actually her stepdaughter. So let me get it right. The devil's in the details. It is her stepdaughter who's employed at the facility, but nonetheless, family.
Still a family.
Yeah. So she is a PNA, recently recruited. Unbelievable. What a hot mess. So let's talk about, somebody said the Honorable Wayne Panton did all within his power to hold each of them accountable. Thank you so much. And let's just move back a little bit in terms of how this facility came to fruition. Now, first of all, someone was talking last week about the layout of the facility, and I want to acknowledge, where we get things right. We need to acknowledge those things. And so just recently, in fact, this facility was lauded by an institution. Let me just see here. They actually received an award, and we'll do a story on this because this is so crazy to me. But they actually received an award. It's the European Healthcare Design Award 2025, and of all of the facilities, I think for health and wellness, our little facility here in the Cayman Islands actually received an award for the design. Which is crazy because, of course, we know that from a functional perspective, there are some issues there, but it received an award. The judges out of the UK and Australia, a mental health project that through innovative design thinking achieves a reconciliation between the needs of the patient and resident for a humanistic environment that supports ongoing therapy, care, and recovery, and the requirement for appropriate levels of safety, security, and supervision. The winner was Poinciana. Yes.
The place has a lot of potential, but I think it just misunderstood in what it was there for to do. Yeah. And there's a bigger gap, which means there are a lot more patients that need more acute care than at that stage of rehabilitation and then reintegration into society.
Yep.
Because I learned on this show that people were they volunteered to go in. Please correct me if I'm wrong. That was never, ever the case. It was referred when I was there. It was a referral process. So to say now that it has changed now where persons can come in voluntarily, please correct me if I'm wrong. That was never, ever in the scope from when I took over office.
So we're going to talk about what was in the scope, because again, that is something that is extremely relevant to the discussion that we're having. Well, congratulations, at least on the design of it. They clearly don't know all the construction issues that they had, but at the very minimum on the design of it, they were, awarded that they were selected from all the ones in the world. So this person says, laugh at them girls, Sabrina. Thinker is some bad mind person. They don't listen because they're hateful. People that have personal hate don't think righteously.
Yeah, that's okay.
Like I said, you know that someone is consistent. Keith says that Dr. Lockhart knows the truth about the situation. He needs to come on this show because I know he will speak the truth. Yeah. So let's talk about the facility. One of the issues with this facility lies squarely on the shoulders of those in the ministry, the civil servants. And I'll tell you why I say this. I told you guys that last week I had various conversations with a different number of people who know historically what happened with this facility. And so one of the things that shockingly occurred is that apparently the facility, there was an opportunity for the facility to be managed by an NPO, right? I want to lay this out because this isn't, from what I understand, entirely unusual. That sometimes, just like we have, for example, the one at HSA Mental Ward, which is done by the
Alex
Panton Foundation.
Alex Place.
Yes, Alex Place. So that's where an NPO comes in and they manage like a very specific element of it, right? So from what my understanding, and this is quite usual, to offset, these are these public-private partnerships that you always hear in government talk about in the ethers. But this is an example, especially around medical and mental health, where this happens all the time. So you'll see like hospitals have like a certain wing named after someone, and that person or their family has dedicated funds to have the NPO not just fund it, but a lot of times they're actually operating and running it as sort of a subset under a particular hospital. And so then the hospital, the benefit to them is they don't have the cost of it. They don't have the management, the micromanagement of it, et cetera. And that's something that often works extremely well. So a lot of people of financial means don't want to make a general donation because then they can't control where the funds go. So if I, have $1 million I want to donate to the HSA, once I give that to them, the board and the HSA CEO, they will decide where that money goes. So this NPO, it was a rich family that had lived in Cayman for quite some time, I understand. And they had a loved one that died as a result of, mental health issues, probably by suicide from what I understood. And so they stepped forward and said, listen, we would be willing to set aside millions of dollars to run the facility. And they had all the money ready to go. And the only requirement they would staff it, they would run it, nothing off of government. And I think it was for a certain period of time. And the only responsibility or the only request that they had is that because of their experience with Dr. Lockhart, they'd asked for him to be the one to actually be the director to run the facility because they had faith that things would be done in an acceptable manner. So, like when we talk about, Cleveland Clinic and Baptist Hospital and all these hospitals, they will have wings that, again, follow this kind of nonprofit model. They have this nonprofit arm. And so this was put on the table. And my understanding is that although they had the private funds, they were willing to really take this on. The civil servants were the ones who said no to this proposal. And they were of the opinion, and the reason why they were saying no is they felt like, oh, this was going to take the glory away from the civil servants who were the project managers and who'd worked on this. Well, I wonder what they're saying today, because there is zero glory around this facility now that we know how much it has failed. So one of the questions I had for you, Sabrina, is are you aware of this, that this public-private agreement was put to government and that this is something that they could have considered?
Yes. The presentation was made to me, and in regards to the glory of the civil servants, I would say more, they were head bent on the fact that they had to go by what was in the business case, and there was no way of straying from that. And even though time of, I think, 8 years, 10 years had passed at that time, why wouldn't you look at a different model? What was contained in the business case from inception to where we were at that time that the presentation was made to myself, and of course then also made to the senior members within the ministry. They were gung-ho that you could not steer away. You could not step outside the box of doing anything different other than what was contained in the business case.
So they've never heard of a business case that was adjusted because of the need or the change in climate and so on?
Which was the argument that was placed, and they maintained that trajectory, that we have to stay on course with what this business case stated.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
But I'm very aware of exactly what you stated there. And yes, it was an option. We thought that it would have gone quicker. One of the concerns that was highlighted as well, what would be the guarantee that the space is there, that government wouldn't have to pay to occupy the place when it was the people's money that built the facility? And all of that was a part of the discussion, breaking it down that you could go, the devil's in the details, go into more details, where it was a case where you would have it would be run by a board. There would be government representation, of course, the needs of the people here in the Cayman Islands, and it wouldn't be any additional debt to any patients that are Caymanian, you understand, because we understood it was a Caymanian facility. But no, they were not. In what meetings I was in, they didn't want to hear that. They wanted to make sure that they went head first straight and only did what was contained in that business case. And at the time, I think there was questions surrounding, even though it was the acts of the donors, how would it have looked, almost like a conflict of interest with, at the time, the then chair was then the chair of the Mental Health Council, their involvement with the HSA Mental Health Wing, and then being the director of that facility. Questions were surrounding around that as well. Would it have been a sole choice? Would there be an application process? Would one have to go through the same recruitment process? All of those came around, and then it just simmered out into, let's getting this facility finished. We couldn't get a timeline. We couldn't get a definitive date. Then all of the other issues with fire suppression, there were just a number of other issues. So for me, because that was more an operational arm, I don't even think it made it to a cabinet paper, if my memory serves me well, to be honest. But I know at the time, the discussions just briefly around the table, because we realized how long it was taken, that at that time, my colleagues were supportive of looking at this new way, considering an MPO. And but it never made it anywhere, because the civil service side of it was saying we have to stick by whatever is contained in this business case. And then the focus was then, let's get the building finished. Let's try to get staffing there and get the people home. So then it was the operational plan of it that we had to also look at. What was the programs that were going to be in place? What key staff that we needed in order to help recruit other places, the licensures and all that sort of stuff for the facility. One of the biggest things at the beginning was whether or not it would have been actually tied to the HSA, and that was actually supported unanimously, that it would be a separate and independent department. Even though MOU, memorandums of understandings for care and treatment, would still maintain, of course, It's a service contract agreement between the two different facilities, but it would have been a standalone department, not a statutory authority.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm.
But the focus was more, let's get this building open. And I kept saying, this is not going to solve the mental health problems here in the Cayman Islands. We have to look at a wider plan on mental health. I'm just happy that we're now able to comfortably have the conversations about mental health. Alex Place is there. We can see where the joint partnership could work, and it would have done very well for the services being offered here. I mean, the mere fact that you said we got an award for the facility, but yet for whatever reason we can't get it right. That's sad. That's very sad.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Someone said to me, morning, the strangest thing happened. The above job description appeared in my docs on my phone today. Not sure how it got there, but God works in mysterious ways, as you may need it for your show today. And this is a job description for the trainee psychiatric nursing assistant position, registered psychiatric nurse, portfolio, Poinciana Rehabilitation Centre. And it gives you, this is page 1, a description, and then it goes on of what the PNAs are supposed to be doing. And of course, the different positions that you have here within the facility in terms of the organizational chart. So again, very, very interesting. But remember, folks, you have a facility that a private, sector entity set up an NPO was willing to come forward, and they were
to partner with government.
Yes. And run the facility at no cost to government for a number of years to the tune of saving government millions of dollars. And unfortunately, the civil service, in their very square box mentality, couldn't see their way around that and how to make that work. And so, as you guys will recall, Dr. Lockhart actually walked away. And this was one of the major reasons why he walked away. He was like, you guys are not listening. You're not able to adjust to the needs of the community, and the people of the Cayman Islands will suffer as a result of this. Now, of course, in typical Caymanian fashion, there were people in government who were claiming that, Dr. Lockhart was pushing this public-private partnership because he was somehow getting something out of this. And my sources have said that that was actually ridiculous. And, but that was how they were able to explain this illogical decision to people who were questioning, well, why wouldn't you take up this opportunity? That doesn't make any sense. And so they then tried to explain it away by making up this convenient story that, he was in it for some profit margin or something. And that apparently was not the case.
What I do know is that we need a resolution. Mm-hmm. And I mean, being tasked and now, of course, public, that I failed, I will take whatever criticisms people will show at me. I can sleep good at night knowing I did all within my power, based within the parameters that I could have worked in. I didn't block funding from bringing this place to completion. I didn't stop funding. I actually gave more money in order to give Caymanians an opportunity, and just left it for the operational arm to make sure that they would be making the right decisions. That is what a minister does. We're not here, and I'm in no position. Tell me, what sense would it make for me to, one, have lied even as a minister about that facility? Two, no longer in the role and still having a conversation now and making excuses. It makes absolutely no sense. We have a fundamental accountability problem. We have a fundamental problem with processes in the operational arm. And the more we speak about it and the more we try to educate our populace, the better these conversations, despite how challenging and difficult they are, because it almost is an embarrassment. But if we're not educated and informed, how are we going to reach a solution that benefits everybody? Right now, our people are still suffering. So you can sit there, persons can sit there and bring personalities and egos into this, who failed and whatever. The mere fact that I can sit here and explain exactly what happened and you can't move off of the fact of failing when in fact the truth is right there, we will never get any further with that type of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, quite shocking.
I just hope that the ministry can get it together, that there is accountability issues, there's obviously management issues, and, going on in a number of the departments, as you have brought up stories here, Sandra. And, I would love one day to actually have, and there's so much great things that are happening. But boy, these situations, just by better management being needed, is overshadowing all of the great potential and the good work that is actually happening. Mm-hmm. It's sad, really.
This person makes the following observation. They say, as long as I live, I will never be part of an SAGC board. The hierarchy is ministry to board to director. The ministry directs the board, who disseminate the direction to the director, and the staff dig in their heels, and to protect their job, the director then deflects and stalls. Nothing then gets done. It is the board that gets blamed. No, sir, never again. Mm-hmm. So they have had the experience.
And then that goes one more step further. Then it becomes the responsibility of the elected arm.
Of the minister.
Yeah, the minister, because then that is who the people saying, I put you there. You ended up becoming a minister. You did not vote for a minister. Mm-hmm. You voted for an elected member of parliament. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the only one really and truly right out here that's being held accountable on a public stage is the elected arm. Mm-hmm. And we have to come, we have to answer, and we have to hold strong to make sure and hope and pray that really it works out. But the people hold us accountable as elected members.
So someone else has a very poignant question here this morning as well, which is a good question. They say that the HR manager is African and not hired on island locally, very strategic by Miss Marcia. So how, as many Caymanian HR professionals as we have, and even non-Caymanian that are right here in Cayman, why would she have to bring in an HR manager from overseas? The chief officer and central government HR approved this. Where are they at fault? It could have been stopped with them. Right. So they're even wondering, why was this very unusual hiring allowed? And I think, again, this goes back to who is overseeing these CEOs. There's no board, to the best of my knowledge, that is in charge of Poinciana Rehabilitation Center.
No.
It falls directly under the ministry. So there's not even that additional layer of accountability, which, although it might be a layer of accountability based on this previous comment, it's also a layer of, being able to point the finger at somebody else kind of situation as well.
That would fall under director. In this case would be Miss Marcia.
Yeah,
and
so
of course,
she has a lot of power.
If they need help, then they feed up and they ask for help from the ministry. Mm-hmm. The only time the minister really gets called into some of these things, and that's if additional funding is needed. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, we are unaware. I mean, until a minister does their tours and stuff, that's when you meet the staff. Even within the very own ministry, there were staff that were joining there. You knew that you needed, let's say, policy advisors, you needed someone in finance. You would not know until, they're having a walk around. Oh, minister, this is Jane, this is Joe, whatever. And then you got to hope you remembered, I financed that. I provided funding for that. But we are removed completely from that process. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You don't know. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I'm just going to change my headsets here, Sabrina. Sometimes it's difficult to do the in-ear one. It starts to irritate your ear a little bit, for those of you who may not know. So I always keep two in hand. But yes, what a hot mess.
Question.
Lemon Drop says, in your time of being Minister of Health, didn't you see the need for more Caymanian people to be hired at the HSA? Once again, Lemon Drop she doesn't hire. She can't tell the HSA who to hire and who not to hire, even from the perspective of the director, right? Can you tell them which CEO to hire?
No, they can, no, I can't get involved, but that the CEO answers to the board, and out of the relationship, they can say, well, what do you think? But the buck stops with the board. However, in discussions with the board, I said it would be nice to Caymanize the system. But again, the board, through policy and directives, so to speak, they have to hope that the HR senior management leader that shows up to these board meetings will take their suggestions into consideration. But the board themselves has so far they can go and no more as well when it comes to the operating of the HSA specific.
Yes.
My duty is to make sure that there's sufficient funding. And there's about 21 line items within the ministry called executive outputs that you fund. And yeah, but it's interesting how the dynamics, how the layers are stacked up actually against pushing that goalpost further away from the minister. But a lot of the responsibility is on the board. And even between the board and the operational arm of that organization, there are boundaries that they just can't pass.
And let me say this, Lemon Drop. This is how I know that Sabrina is actually telling the truth, right? This is going to be an interesting story that I had no intentions of getting into, but since some of you still aren't understanding and getting what she's saying, I'm going to break it down to you. There was a guy there at HSA by the name of Mr. Dunn. What's his first name? Something Dunn. Ronnie Dunn. And Ronnie Dunn was one of the deputies. What was his position? Deputy?
I think he was a chief financial officer.
But he was Lizette's right-hand man, so to speak, right? So he was advising her in everything from tech to HR to marketing. Like, he had a lot of power at the HSA. So Jamaican guy, he was actually going to law school and whatever. When he actually left this facility, he wrote a scathing letter. Lemon Drop. Did you ever see this letter? Do you know what I'm talking about, Sabrina? Oh, Lord. She can't even. She's like, oh, shoot. How Auntie know about this? He wrote a letter, Lemon Drop, calling for a criminal investigation into the board. And I got it. I'm trying to remember how the hell I got it, but somebody sent it to me. And I actually was shocked to see this. And this was a big to-do. And the board was trying to deal with it internally. And so I gave them the opportunity to deal with this situation. That's the only reason why it was not reported on, because they're like, no, these are false allegations. We could have our JCI thing stripped from us based on what he's saying. This is just a person who is disgruntled. But I had a copy of that letter. And the premise of that letter, Lemon Drop, is that he was alleging that the board had overstepped, because the board cannot get involved in the day-to-day operational remit. Yes, at all. So he was saying, no, they had overstepped. They were doing too much. They were involved in the operational aspect of the HSA. They were therefore legally overstepping what the CEO could do, et cetera, et cetera. Then he retracted it. It was a whole big mess. Yep. And you see, the general public didn't know anything about it, Lemon Drop. And I'm telling you, at the time that it was all falling apart and it was all happening, I was made aware of it. And I had even seen a copy of his allegations. So once again, it goes back to this point. The board has certain powers. And if they overstep those powers, it's not just a matter of, oh, well, they overstepped them. Somebody like a Ronnie Dunn can come afterwards and say, I wasn't able to do my job because the board overstepped their powers. And by them overstepping their powers, that led to, me being ineffective. Now this is corruption. The anti-corruption unit needs to look into it, et cetera, et cetera. This is why it is important that our people educate ourselves and understand how all of this actually works. Because if you continue to hold the wrong people accountable And as Sabrina said last week, you have a situation where, you've never had a health minister return because HSA has been a hot mess, and it didn't just start. It has been a hot mess for a really, really long time.
Accountability is now front and center, and there is documentation for just bad behavior. And now this is what's happening. So it is amazing when you actually are doing what the people are asking you to do, but it is upset some people's apple cart, almost seeing their kingdoms becoming just disseminated, just obliterated. Then it's a problem with the board. They're the worst board. The board, created town hall meetings to give an outlet for staff who were just bottling stuff up, not to actually get involved in the day-to-day operations of the HSA, but to let them know that it was okay to speak. And oh my goodness, they were actually intimidated. They were outright being bullied. And staff were actually petrified to speak to members of the board, even to speak to me. Not that I was going to go in there and interfere with the operational arm, but the best thing in life that I have known is to know. And when you have grown people, professionals are scared to even speak to the minister or members of the board, something is wrong with that morale in there. Something is wrong.
So his position was Deputy Chief Executive Officer. And he fell right under the Chief Executive Officer, Lizette. And so there was a lot that was going on there when he resigned and he left. And in fact, he had resigned and they refused to, Lizette refused to take his resignation, kept him on for a little bit longer. Then he was really pissed off and wrote this scathing correspondence and left again. All the meanwhile, he was going to law school on the dime of the people of the Cayman Islands.
Again, those were some decisions that were also supported by the board. In hindsight, the minister only became aware afterwards because there was very little I could do anyhow. The board say, I can't interfere with the board's decision, even if I disagree.
What a hot mess. Good morning, caller.
My name's Sandra and Sabrina. How y'all doing?
Good morning. Not bad. How are you? Just a reminder to watch your language. It's still radio time.
Yes, I'm in check. I'm in church now. I want you to know that the HSA has not come out and revealed these figures, but these figures are there. And I don't think they're being revealed to the PAC as well. But there are millions of dollars owed to the government, which is the HSA, for persons who had emergency situations and the private hospitals wouldn't accept them. They sent them to HSA, who took them in, dealt with them. And we have a mountain of bills to the tune of, I think it's $98 million that's owed, something to that effect, to people on work permits who their employer never, it's over something like 25 years that people on work permits that their employers never got health insurance for them. So they didn't have any health insurance coverage. So the HSA has gobbled that all up and hidden it from the people of the Cayman Islands. Okay, I just thought I'd share it out with you because I got that info. You all have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Awesome show this evening, Sabrina. I'll be tuned.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
It. Yes. So a few more questions and comments coming in, but yes. Yeah. It's a hot mess. So have a look at this. This came in to me back in 2022. No, November of 2023. This person wrote and said, "Hi, good afternoon. I hope all is well. I've heard that the recent caller on Radio Cayman say Caymania is not being hired at the HSA, which is completely true and factual. I understand that an expatriate was recently selected as chief dental officer at HSA, and other Caymanians, as well as long-serving current staff, applied. How is this so? How has someone that's been at HSA less than a year gotten the job over senior dentists who have applied, have experience, and know the Cayman community well, have worked in the districts, and are highly qualified? Does this really look good? Is this the doing of the board that PAC put in place to manage the organization? This is really disheartening and disappointing. What needs to be said is that the successor to the chief dentist is his friend. I implore you all to look into this. This is unethical hiring practices here in this case, as well as the HSA in general. Absolutely ridiculous. I hereby request a full interview, panel report, shortlist report of candidates, reasons why other staff didn't get the CDO post, who signed off on the offer to be made to an expat doctor, and why, and relevant scores and qualifications of candidates, etc., regards a concerned Caymanian working at the HSA. So even here, I have said on more than one occasion, folks, and you guys have heard it, that there have been concerns about the HSA hiring for quite some time. You guys have heard me talk about one individual in particular, Ms. Charmaine Moss, has had a lot of complaints levied against her in relation to, a lot of Caymanians have left because of how she treats them. They have overheard her making comments, folks, about how she is going to stack the departments that fall under her with Jamaican workers, because although she's been Cayman donkey years, I guess she still sees herself as Jamaican. So, these were the comments that the workers heard her make. And they were complaining to me, and I brought it up on this program before. So the HSA CEO and HR are aware that these things are happening, and nothing has been done. So hiring at the HSA falls squarely on the shoulders of Samantha Bennett, because Samantha Bennett is the HR director. And let us keep in mind that of all of the SAGCs, the HSA has the largest, let me repeat it, and I'm going to slow it down for you. They have the largest number of people hired. So they are the largest SAGC. I think it's well over 1,000 for sure. Right? So that's a lot of Caymanians not employed. And so she has a lot to answer to, as far as I'm concerned. But she answers to the CEO, which is Lizette Yearwood. And I know of Caymanians who've applied for simple positions, just answering the phone, patient intake, patient processing, and they did not get those positions. This person says, "Morning, Sandra. Can you ask Sabrina about protocol when it comes to civil servants wanting to communicate information to ministers that they should know, especially when malpractice is concerned? Please and thanks." So how do civil servants communicate to the ministers?
In my time, a lot of them would actually come to the constituency office when I was a minister. Based on my door, I had this open door policy, and people were welcome to come and engage with me, understanding that I would say I had a very good relationship with a number of the staff there, and including the chief officer. Now, what I would see more comfortable in their demeanor is when they would come to the constituency office, or they would see me at functions or even out in the store, and they would come aside and they would pinch me on information. Now, of course, they would not be putting anything in writing, because one of the concerns is I do not want to be getting into problems with my boss if they were to know. But is there anything you can do? It ranged from succession planning and being able to get a promotion that they've been acting in for years and don't feel that they are given a chance because the human resources person in their department has their friend or someone from another country. And these were the things, a lot of the complaints that were coming, though, that I learned of as minister were operational. And you would be surprised at so many of them, even though they were working in the civil service, did not understand that I would take their concerns, bring it to the operational arm as candid as I can, but protecting their identity, hoping there would be a resolution. But that individual or those individuals did not understand the boundaries of the elected arm. You could see them just completely deflated. A lot of the concerns would have required them to have either gone to their senior, their director, their supervisor, but many of the times, those were the persons that were the problem. And then I said, well, what about going to POX? Miss Gloria? They were not comfortable. So it almost made me feel as though I had very little to offer understanding the dynamics of my role saved by a policy or a piece of legislation, but the concerns were operational. And I would have been stepping over. Yes, I would be stepping into the operational arm of how the civil service operated if I had actually gone and executed as they expected me to do. And that was not the case.
Yeah. This person says, I'm confused. Isn't it the job of the minister to set the overall policy and for the board to ensure the policy is executed by the operational arm? It can't be the job of the minister to merely make suggestions and provide funding. Yeah.
We set the policy and we brought outcome. We set the policy and we brought outcomes for what is actually required for that. And let's use the HSA for example. They had a lot of things that were going on and to a lot of things that had contracts that actually would have been in problems if we didn't have continued with the trajectory. But I must say, when the board found its feet and understood their role, the policies were actually drawn out, and we found out that there were a lot more challenges from the operation, and boosting the morale of the staff in order to get good outcomes was what we were facing. That then brought its own set of challenges because it was going into an area that the board had very little remit over. So it became very challenging, and it was new for the way this board even operated because the CEO and the senior management team were not accustomed to how this board was actually operating compared to the boards in the past. It's like the CEO wanted, this is what I've been told now, to create agendas, to tell them what the agenda of the board meeting should have been like. No, that should be the board. It was the tail was wagging the dog and not,
yeah, that's crazy.
So that was the environment from what has been the picture that has been painted to me. That was what they were accustomed to. And then the board were just there taking, and when they started to really fill in their role and get to understand, okay, well, no, this is how it's going to be done. When I have a subcommittee meeting, after a subcommittee meeting and we go back to a general board meeting, then me as a subcommittee chair will be doing the speaking. They were not accustomed to that. You are there for additional information should the other board members then have any other questions, but they were not accustomed to that. And that's when we realized that there was issues on that board. And I know all of this because I met with the board quite often in order to be updated with what was going on. Mind you, for the amount of complaints that were coming to me privately as well, phone calls that I've been received. You didn't have to ask me whether I know there were issues going on at the HSA. I knew that there were problems, but how you dealt with them as a minister, knowing that you have an active board that was willing to listen, try to troubleshoot, try to work as a team for the betterment of the operation of the hospital. But I don't think it was reciprocal, to be honest. For what they're being faced, it was not that joint partnership collaboration at all. It was more like the board was working against them, and then it was like ministry was against them, when that was so far from the truth. We just wanted it to be improved and for the reputation of that facility to be a facility where Caymanians are proud of, but we weren't getting that feedback from them.
This person says, like any modern organization, government needs an anonymous speak up channel where complaints can be made without fear of reprisal.
I agree.
Yeah. And I mean, there is legislation, whistleblowing legislation, but most civil servants don't even know anything about that. And that is why, let me now say this, that is why the civil servants come to CMR all the time. And that is why people like Juliana tries to suppress them. Oh, who leaked this to CMR? How does CMR know about this? Now, what kind of minister in their right mind who knows that the mechanisms are not there to hold people accountable a lot of times at the civil service level would discourage civil servants from finding any outlet that they can to try to keep their mental sanity? You know how many people are sick and tired of being abused in the civil service? I mean, this is why I took it to the next level and a bit personal when I heard a minister was the offending abusive party when it came to Chris Saunders. And he was out there going around telling people that no, he resigned from the position. I said, no, I cannot let that go. And by the way, let me just provide an update, because sometimes we share these stories and then you're like, well, whatever happened to this, Sandy, or whatever. Let me provide an update to you guys in relation to the minister. You know that the ombudsman's office reached out in relation to me sharing his termination letter, because somehow in their head, they had concluded or thought that I had somehow breached his rights in relation to that. Well, it turns out media is not capable of doing that, because I'm not the one who is the store collector of the data, whatever. So I later found out, after they started communicating with me, that I initially thought this must have been a complaint from either himself or the PPM or one of these political fools. They said no, that they actually had launched an investigation on their own. I'm like, ombudsman don't have enough to do or what? So they launched an investigation on their own, and then they were pressing me for a response. So I said, oh yeah, okay. So I had gotten, they're like, yeah, we were the ones who actually launched an investigation. And so they wanted to know what logic or under what sections of the law did I feel it necessary to actually share this letter about what Chris Saunders had done. Well, honey child, that law degree comes in handy on occasion. And so I sent them a letter. Let me tell you all now. I can show you in part some of what I said to them, because Auntie got plenty of sense now. Don't be coming for her. And I sent them a letter where I basically responded to their query, because they were forcing me to respond. I was going to ignore them, but they wouldn't take that. So I said, okay. So their thing was that they wanted to know the Office of the Ombudsman serves as supervisory authority, blah, blah, blah. First, I'd like to draw your attention to a few key definitions. So they provide all these definitions. I'm like, y'all need to know the definition, not me. So given the above, we're reviewing the matter and request your cooperation and answering the following initial question. Please clarify to us the legal basis for processing this personal data, the memorandum dated the 20th of March, 2023 on the 25th of April, 2025. Feel free to let us know if you require any further clarification. So they're pressing me, and I wrote them a very lengthy email explaining the law to them. And I said, thank you for your follow-up and the opportunity to clarify the legal basis for processing the memorandum as discussed in your correspondence. Under the Cayman Islands Data Protection Act 2021 revision, processing of personal data must be justified by one of the legal bases set out in Schedule 2 of the Act. And the Act specifically recognizes several legal grounds, including, and I put the full list. And then I talked about the ones relevant to me. And one of them is special purposes exemption journalism. Section 4 of the DPA defines special purposes to include journalism, and Section 22 provides a targeted exemption to personal data processed solely for these purposes. The exemption applies if the processing is undertaken with a view to publication of journalistic material. The data controller reasonably believes that publication would be in the public interest with particular regard to freedom of expression, and the data controller reasonably believes that compliance with certain DPA provisions is incompatible with the special purposes. In this case, Cayman Mall Road processed the memorandum for the purpose of journalistic publication with a reasonable belief that the material was of significant public interest, given it involved high-ranking government officials and matters of good governance. And then I went on to talk about application to CMR, journalistic purpose, public interest, and freedom of expression. And then I also included for their, perusal, international and comparative context. I talked about the UK and European data protection frameworks, recognizing exemptions for journalistic, artistic, and literary purposes, et cetera, et cetera. So I responded as professionally as I could. But again, the point is this: I'm being pressed. Imagine a media house being pressed about releasing information like this because we're trying to somehow still protect someone like Chris Saunders. I'm trying to protect the people. I don't care about Chris Saunders. The people simply need to know the truth. We put it out there. You guys still voted him in. So a lot of you didn't care about the truth, but at least it's out there. So it's not something that he can continue now to go out there and claim that he resigned. You all know that he was fired for sexual harassment, and that's that. You know? Gina says this is crazy, having to work under this suppressive behavior at the HSA. Girl, you have no idea how crazy. And I keep telling the HSA workers, because some of them send me 1 or 2 little notes and they're so scared they send it and then they quick time delete it. I'm like, y'all need to you have to stand up. Mm-hmm. Even if standing up means you put together a comprehensive list of your complaints in detail, because I don't work at the HSA. So I don't know what's going on in the HSA. You guys do. Mm-hmm. So unless you bring it to the public's attention, even if it's through me as the conduit, nothing will ever change. Yep. Trisha, where the grass is green, 345 says, guys, this sounds like a scratch record. I can go back 15 years ago, same at the then CTMH at the time, awesome joke. And please understand the salary option is way different. So I can imagine government classism is dominant on this rock. Trust and believe, I wouldn't even go to the little skin color, shaking my head. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Sabrina. How you guys doing?
Good
Not
morning.
bad. How are you?
Good, thanks. Just tuning in here and hearing all of the, I don't even know what to call it with respect to particularly the HR concerns over at the HSA. And I think if people are honest, some of those issues with HR are spilling over into the service or lack thereof, I feel. But that said, addressing the issue on a whole, Sandra, you just said that you often get messages from employees who are just simply scared to speak up. Mm-hmm. The problem that I think that we have, that issue in not being able to speak up or being afraid to speak up is an issue that permeates the entire fabric of the Cayman Islands employment workforce. And the reason is because the laws and the books that we have right now are simply not strong enough. This is not just a public employment issue. This is also ridiculous in the private sector. And I think I called your show, I think last week, and brought a similar issue up. I mean, you are being literally abused minus what I say, licks. You're being abused on every level. You get summarily dismissed or made redundant, and you file a claim, and you're paid off. You're paid off, but the perpetrator is never punished. And again, we have, particularly in the government sector, which is also extended to the private sector, we have whistleblowing legislation that is meant to protect employees in circumstances such as this. I mean, the HSA is providing health services. My God, if you want something to be good and right and as close to perfect and excellent as you can get it, one would think it should be in health services. But I am so frustrated and tired of getting up every day. Miss Sabrina, I thank you for, let me say, speaking out, and not necessarily exposing. I don't think that that's your MO, but speaking out and providing clarity, and so that people fully understand what took place under your tenure, what's still taking place, and what took place prior to you being there. This just isn't isolated to HSA, unfortunately. It occurs across core government, statutory authorities, and if government and their statutory authorities do not set the tone for the way employment and employees should be handled, then how do we expect the private sector to get it right? Correct. How do we expect, if the government isn't leading by example in the way that employees are treated, then it just leaves the rest of us just open and ripe for abuse. What are we doing? We have a Cayman Island HR society. Is the government not a part of this? I'm so tired of getting complaints from different governments. And I'm sorry, I'm going to call out the DG. That world-class civil service is not as world-class as he believes. Maybe world-class in customer service, but definitely not world-class in the treatment of some of its employees based on things that they are saying. That they are saying. And it's really, really a shame that it took, Sabrina, maybe this is your destiny, and maybe God had other plans for you, you know, so that people can truly understand the full scope of what really goes on. You know?
Maturity comes into people just listening to what I'm saying and not taking it personal. I am not here to put out anybody's mouth, but to actually speak of my experience. And I mean, if the mere fact of me highlighting certain issues that is obviously a problem, people are thinking that I'm trying to shun my duties or saying that I've failed the country. One fail, all fails. And if my life was made difficult, you could not get over your personal feelings because I held you accountable, then I'm sorry. We're all living on the same island here. You have to understand
we don't have to be friends. We don't have to be friends, but we have a job to do. Correct. We have a job to do, and that is on all sides of the spectrum. And people being held accountability has long been a problem in this country, and it's not just with elected officials. It is with in service industries, in core government, in statutory authorities, in dereliction of duties with the boards and such. But all I'm saying is these boards, these government boards are making such critical decisions that dictate the lives of people, and for the love of God, they just can't seem to get it together, and it's really shameful, and I'm so sick and tired and disgusted. This is what now your fourth day talking about truly
same subject,
the pile of mess. The pile of mess that is the HSA and everything that surrounds it. And I'm sorry, I like my good friend Chet. I am going to call out the CEO. I am so tired of hearing the failings of her as the CEO at that hospital. When is her head going to roll? Somebody to die? Many people have died. I'm not going to say that she is directly responsible or even indirectly responsible, but I mean, how much more failings does that institution have to have before somebody says enough is enough? Let's wipe the slate clean and start again. When? We're providing health services. My God. What the issue at the mental health facility, it literally took a child being sexually abused for somebody to put on their light bulb and say, we can separate them. In what realm of reality are children patients? Forget the mental aspect, which to me are some of the highest priority and should be given the greatest level of protection. I mean, you have a pediatric ward and you have a general ward. There's a need to separate children and adults. That's not rocket science, and believe me, I do not have a medical degree. That's not rocket science. And I'm saying, when is she going to be held accountable? I'm going to leave you guys there, and hopefully someone listening can answer that question. And if she is not to blame, I stand corrected. But who is going to be held accountable for all of the failings that we consistently hear about? I mean, right now we're getting a whole debrief of the HSA mess. I am sure Sandra can name, I don't know how many other core government functions and statutory authorities that have similar failings. We heard similar behaviors going on at the court. Till now, we don't know anymore. We don't know any less about that.
Right.
And we're assuming it's all
no heads roll there either.
No, but we're no farther ahead, no heads or tails. I saw a video posted to one of the social media websites where a container, one side of it fell off of the crane. I didn't hear any comment about it. These are the types of things. And then when people like myself get up and criticize the government and the failings of them, she just likes to complain. No, we don't. I don't expect perfection, but I expect accountability, and I expect you in the least, to be satisfactory. And there's tons of failings on a daily basis. I could start. If I started, you don't have enough time. But I'm just saying, like, government provides so much service to the general public. Just look at the government admin building. I promise you, if you walk in there, there's somebody sitting on the front line who is on their phone and not face forward facing, and in my opinion, not ready to receive customers. Those are the types of things that the DG is telling me he's in that building and doesn't see. You're calling a government office, and you're calling 14, 15, 17 times, can't get through. And I am going to say this one. This is an essential service. What is going on? What is going on? There is nothing world class about those things, and I beg someone to get it right. I'll leave you guys there. And
thank you. All right, caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So, yeah, this is where we are, folks. Pretty crazy. I saw another caller who was trying to get in, but a lot of people agreeing with that caller. They said, please give her a kaboom. Because again, she was really spot on. Dalian says, miss you are so on point. Bless you. Kaboom to that caller, says Miss Marjorie. Kaboom, says Jim. Duke says small island and too many low IQ in position that they got no business in. Jim says, I believe that separation of children and adults was suggested back in 2014. If not, it was in 2014. Check out the archives of the Cayman Compass dating back. I believe it was written in their May 2014 edition. What a mess. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. And
morning,
good morning,
dear.
Sabrina.
How are you? Good morning.
I am wonderful. I am here listening, but I said,
yes.
Oh, dear Heavenly Father.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't going to say very much, but I'm going to say this. Yes, the hospital is a mess. The HSA is a royal mess. I go back some many years ago when I had my first nervous breakdown, okay? There is a lot that I've gone through, and there's a reason why I call out the HSA, because from in the 90s, it was that way, where you were just pumped with medicine when you were put in there, and you were told you had to go back to your room. And I actually ended up signing myself out of the hospital because I said, you're pumping me with medicine every day, and I'm walking around here like a bloody zombie. Paced out of my mind, and you're giving me what, 1 day to go see a counselor? How's that supposed to help anybody? There's nothing to do. You sat in the room. But we're going to go a little bit further. I'm going to say this, and I'm not holding back this morning. I'm going to be no cuss words. But the situation that took place with me, where I was scorned because I have HIV at a hospital, and it took 7 months for the CEO to apologize because you have threatened her a couple of times with Facebook, and she finally understood that you'd had enough, I guess. But the audacity to just write a small little email after you have spoken to me, and I have had to tell you, yes, you're not only the head of the HSA, but you telling me you're my friend. And I said to her, yes, that's the worst part of it. That's what makes it so bad. But to have to continue to still listen to this madness, and to have this woman, I don't care, she could be my sister. I would not care at this point. She needs to go. There has been too much going on at this hospital. And I'm going to say this publicly. I am going to go to the HSA board, and I am going to let them know how I was treated during that incident, and how the HSA pharmacy and rest, they gave me depression. For my depression medicine, I was given stomach medicine, and the male assistant helping the pharmacy just could tell me, oh, she just typed it in. I looked at him, well, what else has she typed in and give that not supposed to be to some other patient? Whose other medication have you given? You gave me somebody else's medication. You know, these are things that Yes, Lizette picked the phone up to call me, but I was in a rage. I didn't want to speak to her, nor did I want to speak to Colin Medford. And I remember saying this to her. I put it in an email too. Someone is going to lose their job over this. And then a couple of months later, this scandal with the pharmacy came out. Mm-hmm. And I went, oh, so this is how this place works then. You don't do nothing about it. Tell somebody else finds out about it. And then you want to cover it up. Lizette, I am sorry. We come from the same small little island called Kimberbride. But you and whoever else the chief medical director is, I don't care who the government is going to get rid of, but you, Lizette, need to go. I'm sorry. There is no hate here. There is no lying about what happened. I have emails between her and Colin Medford that I will share. People want them. People have had. I am a Caymanian. I have had enough. I am sick and tired of hearing this foolishness, because someone that goes into a hospital that cannot breathe should not see a Caymanian male EMS telling the nurse that has been assigned to you, you have HIV, in front of your room with a curtain pulled after you've been there since 12 a.m. that morning, and it's almost 10 o'clock and you're getting ready to go upstairs because there wasn't a bed available to you in medical ward. That was how I was treated as a Caymanian. And when I tell people that I only go to one doctor at the HSA unless I have to go to for anything else, it has been almost 13 years. I'm going to let this cat out of this box because I've been called enough names in this country. I have been made to be I live in a bubble because society has treated me like dirt. I'm going to call up Mr. Franz Manderson this morning because he got here what Chet Oswald Ebanks got said this morning. I went to him and I talked to him some years ago when I could not find work. And today, up till this day, nobody has even offered me a call to say, we have a job for you. We want you to come and interview. No, none of that wasn't brought up. I was looking work. That's why I went to Mr. Manderson. Mr. Manderson, you need to go too. You talking about your world-class civil service? You're not going to world-class civil service. You got a world-class civil service in your head, maybe, with customer service. Because I can say the government civil service knocks it out most departments with customer service. But as for having a world-class civil service, Mr. Manderson, there's no world-class civil service here. When you couldn't even acknowledge the fact that what I had was making it hard for me to find employment at the time. And you know what he asked me? How did it happen? Or something like that. And when I told that man that my throat looked like cauliflower with the redness, it looked like lava. It just looked like lava. That's how bad my throat was. I couldn't swallow. He was more interested in what the symptoms were when I was took sick and got diagnosed, more than I had come there to look a job. And I had to go down this road to tell him how I have been treated in this country. But when I have to go to a HSA, a hospital or a clinic, where for almost 13 years, the 1st of October will be 13 years, long years. And I tell K-Man, anybody that messes with me learns what I'm made out of. I have a family, and I've said this, I have a family and I have a country who hates me because of what I have. And I don't do anybody anything. And when I have to go to look medical care, I don't abuse my Cineco insurance. I never have abused it. But the audacity of Lizette to still stay in a job when she takes 7 months to apologize to her people. She not for Caymanians neither. She has brought, I'm going to leave it after here, in this here, she has brought shame to the HSA. And I will tell her this, and I will tell her it to her face. She has brought shame to the HSA, and it's time for Lizette Yearwood to step away.
Leave me there.
And leave the HSA.
All right, my dear.
Because
thank you so much.
I have had two good people that worked at the HSA, and they were both Caymanians, and they brought no shame in their role to that job. God bless Cayman. And you know, Miss Sabrina and Miss Sandra, I thank you for bringing this, all your shows. I don't care what anybody say about you two young lady Caymanians. I respect you and I've always respected all of you.
Thank you
and
so
you
much.
know what? Bring the issues to Cayman, because we as a country, it has been said on Radio Cayman Talk Show, if this government doesn't get it right to help Caymanians, Cayman is done. Pack your bags and whatever passport you can get out of here on, get out on it. Because Caymanians are still leaving this country because they cannot live and work and enjoy what our forefathers did for us. This is our country. And anybody I see breaking rules in it, I'm going to say something about them. Thank you. And
Thank you
keep
so
the
much.
good work up. And don't listen to nobody about, don't talk about this and don't talk about that. That too taboo and that too this. Just like that young woman at the campus, she can walk around nude in the street and want to go read news the next morning. No, like I told you, I stopped watching the campus. You are my news. You, Cayman Mile Road, are my news and Cayman News Service. And when I need to say something on there, I put my name, because I'm not hiding behind no anonymous, because what I have to say, I'm going to say it. Thank you, ladies. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And on that note, I just want to make one thing very, very clear, that none of us, and I want to say this, you know, I have been a supporter of Miss Lizette for a very, very long time. I always said that she was very good at when things were brought to her attention, by me anyway, I don't know about anybody else, she would action it pretty quickly. And so none of us, she's one of her own. So none of us are saying that we hate her, or there's nothing like that going on here. We are simply talking about accountability. And if anybody knows me, there might be certain things that I would let slide. I wouldn't say a whole lot, because I'm really not that kind of person, to be honest, to let things slide. Because one thing I know in life is nothing fixes itself. Right? So you have got to fix it. And so, you know, I attempted to assist them in a lot of different ways, but now to me, this is too much. When it comes to a child, you guys know how I feel about children. When it comes to protecting children and knowing that they know the risk that existed for years and they did nothing about it, they're sitting down there on their laurels. I simply could not call for her resignation at this time. And don't take it personal, please, Lizette. I hope you find another great job somewhere else, but it can't be there. Let me read this. This person says that so-and-so's mom died after she had a heart attack and was taken to the emergency room at the HSA. She arrived around 11 a.m. They kept her at the hospital until around 10 p.m. at night before referring and taking her to Shetty Hospital. Most of the damage was done by then. Even though they operated, she didn't last more than a few days. So another example about some people are of the opinion that lives have been lost as a result of, you know, poor decisions or delays in treatment, or even in this case, referrals and so forth. We have a caller in the line, and we're not going to keep poor Sabrina much longer, because child, she might have to go take a nap and get ready for her own show. But good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Hello, caller. Uh-oh, I can't hear you.
Good morning.
Hi.
And hi. Hope everybody had a great weekend.
Yes.
You know, this is a subject dear to me, because this is people's life. It's not just something, you know, when you go there, you're in desperate need. And I have to say that people call when Miss Turner was in office to complain to me, to tell her the thing. I know some of them, they were so stressed out at the hospital. They couldn't focus. They had actually anxiety and so much issues, the workers. So I said to them, well, you know, I'm going to have your name. I know who you are, but we can't just go say people saying, because it's like we're just lying to cause trouble. You would not imagine. But then they kept saying the boss and the bosses are friends. So when you go to them about someone that is ill-treating them because they're good friends, they go to drink, party, and have a good time, they actually don't have nobody to go to. I said, again, for my minister to do anything, you know, she don't hire. She would have to take it to the board. We would have to have names. But you know, God is God. And see, it takes time, but eventually, you know, there are going to be people that come out like the young man just now, other people, because people have been oppressed. This is, I know. They call me. I got some of them that changed their jobs. They went to another department. They love their job, but because of certain people, they just couldn't function anymore. And it had interfered with their daily life, their home life and everything. And nobody should have to work under those conditions. Nobody should have to feel like to go to work is a beating, because they have to actually take care of themselves and their families. And this has been a long time. This not today.
Exactly.
And it got to stop. These things, every department, because what happens, a lot of them that are in positions in these government departments, they get friend with the bigger bosses or whoever. And then by time you probably go to them, they don't want to hear because you're a troublemaker, because they label you in the workplace as a troublemaker. Once you speak out, most people are considered troublemakers, which is not true. And that's why sometimes we must not take up the mantle and say, oh yeah, they're troublemakers. Sometimes the people are crying out and they're crying everywhere they could cry because they're hurting. And because one said one thing, the others say the same thing. We got to stop doing that. We got to listen. And then if we find them to be that person, then we could deal with them in that sense. But until then, we don't know where our kids going. We don't know where our sisters or brothers, we got to be one kind one to another, not just our own, because our own will go there and feel the same pain. And then we're going to want to do something about it once it's our own, but let it not reach there. Let us help one another. It has to be changes. I mean, people have suffered. I know a friend of mine, and she said, I'd rather take a less pay. I have to get out of here. I can't do it. And there are certain names, and those same names kept coming right there to that office. But again, as I said, Sabrina could do so much and no more.
Thank you.
And I would vent it to her, and she would say the same thing. So it's been a long time coming, and something has to be done.
Thank you. Leave us there.
Have a good day.
I appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you.
So a few more comments. I'm going to wrap up. This person says separating adults and children in a mental ward is just common sense. That's like a zookeeper putting the lions and the gazelles in the same enclosure. The level of incompetence and dysfunction at the HSA for donkey years is incomprehensible. It is. I mean, it is common sense. And I agree with this listener's sentiments completely. This person says, can you please ask Sabrina why she did not ensure that her chief officer, Nellie Pucci, respond to my email regarding all the staffing issues, etc. at Poinciana? She was made aware of the issues. Can you force Ms. Nellie Pucci to respond to her emails?
No, I can only bring it to her attention. And like I said, how she actually plans her day with the meetings and everything and responding to emails was something that she do realize that she was a bit behind, but I can't tell her when to respond. I can just keep bringing it to her attention. And that was done.
Yeah. What a mess.
That was responding to emails overall. But I could tell you this, if anyone has any idea of what Miss Nellie was going through with meetings and appointments and all of that sort of stuff, some nights all after 10, the lady was getting home. I can't tell you what she was doing where responding to emails were concerned, but she was, that was one of her downfalls, and she admitted it.
So is it the case that maybe she wasn't qualified to take the post up of chief officer?
I wouldn't question her. No, I would not question her ability. She just did not have the right support team under her.
Lord Jesus, because I mean, responding to emails would be the least of your worries as a chief officer.
I could be honest with you, sometimes from one meeting to the next, you could actually have, I've seen cases where you could respond to emails and WhatsApps, and by the time you clear it, they're like 6 to something else. And some of them weren't just a straight up yes or no. Some of them required other information to be provided. But
that sounds like my inbox, and sometimes stuff goes to junk and I miss it completely.
And you miss it
but
as well.
At least an acknowledgement. Because,
I agree.
There has to be an acknowledgement when people are complaining and they're willing to put their name and you see their email address to say, hey, I've received your email. Maybe I can't give you a full response at this time, but I want to acknowledge it. And it is something that would be looked into, something. And
but
she did
she identify that she was she was tardy, her tardiness on responding to emails. Now, whether that improved over time, I can say it did. But there was a time when there was just really her, and there was a lot going on, not making any excuses for her, because she has to know how she plans out her day. But just even with me, sometimes, even responding to me, there were times that it just took a while for her to address certain matters.
I mean, I don't know, but people need better organizational tools as well. Do you think that sometimes these people just don't even know what technology is available to them, or the restrictions in the civil service in terms of what technology they can use? I mean, I don't know.
I can be honest with you, in communication to them, understanding where the FOIs are concerned, understanding platforms like this, I can see civil servants being a little less quick in responding to everything right there and then, making sure it's gotten right, than to answer right there and then, not looking at it full circle and getting in problems. That's another thing that some of them are a little weary of as well. Based on the nature of the email and the ask, sometimes you have to honestly do research, and sometimes
all you have to do is
say
thanks for the email. Listen, I sent one last week. This is why I don't email government for the most part, because I know most of the time they're not going to respond to me anyway. I sent one last week to the ministry and Poinciana Point about all this hot mess that's going on there. No one has acknowledged even receiving my email. And that was sent, I want to say, on maybe Tuesday of last week. And I sent it to the ministry. I sent it to Miss Marcia. No one even said, thanks for the email, we'll get back to you. Nothing. And so this is one of the reasons why I have to use alternative means to get access to my information. And I don't rely, and then they get upset. Oh, well, she got it wrong. Yeah, because you guys don't respond to email. So I don't rely on proper government channels a lot of times because they are failing. Caller, good morning.
Morning.
Hello, sir.
Do you remember when the chief medical officer had written a letter claiming that he had the power to prevent doctors from submitting an electronic prescription to a pharmacy? Remember how far back that was?
Couple of years now.
And yeah. And you could, and certain drugs you had to go back to the doctor every month and get a new prescription.
Yes.
Remember that? At that time, okay, I wrote Nellie Pucci asking her to give the reasons for her decisions, because what the chief medical officer did was unlawful. Okay? She ignored my email. I went on Radio Cayman and blasted her over it. She happened to be listening. And a couple minutes later, messaged me saying she apologized, yada, 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 yada. She was going to get back to me soon. She still hasn't gotten back to me. Okay? She has no intentions of getting back to me. And about whether she had enough support, she had an assistant. All she had to do is say, do the research on this for me, or whatever it is she thought needed to be done. My version of it is this. If you do something for a reason, you already know the reason why you did it. So all you have to do is tell me what the reason is.
Yeah. Yep. And this is where civil servants have to know their responsibility under the Constitution, because you can't just make decisions willy-nilly. Exactly.
This is on the unlawfulness that happens in government right now is atrocious. Even to the commissioner of police acts unlawfully, or he did before. Right? Until they changed the law to give him the power to do the thing that he claimed he already had the power to do. Let me tell you something. The governor is not doing her job. The governor should be shipped out of the Cayman Islands immediately. She is failing us. They ignore what the people say. They just ignore it. They come up with fancy excuses to just brush everything off. when it explodes in their face, I hope they don't claim that they didn't know that people were discontented. Because Nelly Pucci isn't the only one. You have someone in Parliament who is ignoring Section 19.2 of the Constitution. Now it has reached a point. There's no acknowledgement to that. My complaint about that. So the point that's reaching now is where the Parliament Commission, who's responsible for supervising her and preventing her from doing unlawful acts, are now running out of time. It's becoming unreasonable. And so this government is going to be, I hope Andre is listening. Because if he thinks that this is just going to go away and civil servants are going to be able to act unlawfully while they prosecute the living daylights out of everybody else, that is not going to happen. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah. All right. What a hot mess. Just a few more comments and then we're going to wrap things up here. This person says, so if this facility is not under HSA, why didn't the government just let those rich people and Dr. Lockhart run it? It's stupid if you ask me. This Miss Marcia woman needs to go. Yeah, well, I think all of us have concluded that needs to happen for sure. Wow. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. I know you're about to wrap up. So
yes, sir.
I've just got 2 points to make in relation to what the last caller has done. There is just has said there is just a breakdown of government systems in terms of them doing what the law requires. Specifically, what he says about the governor. The governor is a total waste of time. Do you know, since last year, there are certain things I was asking her to do about the deletion of records relating to matters in the judiciary and all kinds of things. And I wrote to her and put the law in the emails and everything. She just totally ignored me. It was not until you published the story on CMR to say that I had sued the government for a conspiracy to defame and so on. The day after the story came out, that's when she responded to me. And even then, it was only to say, well, because the matter is still in court, you see, I can't order an investigation. So I told her, I said, look, even if the matter is still in court, you can at least order an investigation as to why a record was deleted, because even Smelly has done that with a matter while it is still continuing. Okay? I haven't heard from her. Second and last point, very briefly. There's also the Attorney General right now. I had made an FOI request. I say, how much did you pay in my case to fight my case? The lawyer who you hired in my case, how much did you pay him? They said they didn't pay him anything. But I fought them. This is the KC who charges about $700 an hour. We went to. I went to the ombudsman. It has been going on for 5-6 months now. Finally, last week, I received an email from the FOI officer saying actually they did pay him, but they can't tell me the hourly rate. So they were lying all along.
My
so
God.
I'll leave it right there. You have a nice day.
Wow. Thank you. Jesus, take the bus, come, take the whole bus. It's just so incredibly shocking. Absolutely shocking. Trisha says, I can say, Sandra, when you went around to institutions/government entities and do customer service training, it was something to walk away with an array of brush-ups. I must say, I don't see top class. Again, talking about this world-class civil service that, and listen, the deputy governor, he obviously, he supports his civil servants, but I think sometimes in support of his civil servants, maybe he is not able to see the forest for the trees. Like if the general public is saying, despite what you think that your civil service is not as world-class as you think, it might be time to reevaluate what you mean by world-class and to really understand the experience that other people are having. Johan says, Auntie Sandy, why you complain about the DG response to your every request like he works for you? I guarantee nobody gets that sort of attention and treatment. Lord have mercy. Here, Johan and his saltiness. Yes, I mean, the deputy governor does respond to me, and I don't have any issues. That's what I'm saying. I don't have any issues with him responding to me. It's others. Yeah. And the sad part is there are times when I have to message him and say, I've sent something to this department head, this one, that one, and I've got no response. And then he has to chase them up. That should not be.
Correct.
As civil servants, you guys need to, the minimum you can do, folks, is check your bloody emails and respond. Even to just say, thank you, I acknowledge receipt. It is being actioned, something.
The system that I had set up as a minister is that emails would come directly to me, either my desktop, my laptop, and my government phone. And I also allowed my PA to also be able to see emails. Mm-hmm. It was automatic because, Mondays were caucus for me. Those days we would go in there from pretty much 10 o'clock sometimes, and you're out all 10 o'clock at night. That would be an entire day. Then Tuesdays you were into cabinet. Those were starting until, based on the agenda, sometimes 10 in the morning until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the day. And in between those now, you're having emails coming through. So your PA plays a critical role in just acknowledging, as you rightfully say, the email. Now, some of those were quick. I could personally just do a WhatsApp in meetings and say, look, this is how you answer this. Can you double check and follow up on that for me? But somebody needs to contact this person. Many a times it was sponsorship, issues with payment from the ministry, which again was operational arm, but they came to me. But at least there was some form of contact. What I also noticed, though, is that if things required additional research that extended a response that the person reaching out to thought should have been answered a little bit more quicker, they got a little bit anxious and wanting the decision. My PA would not, even if they knew, respond to say, look, this is where we're at, whatever, until I reviewed what was being said. And many times they don't want to hear from the PA. They want to hear directly from the minister. That is why my responses were on behalf of the minister. But if it didn't come directly from me, sometimes what I would do is follow it up with a gentle call, but not all the time that was possible. I have been thrown up and torn up on social media posts by persons wanting funding from the ministry and torn up, not realizing that my ministry was delayed in making payment to an NPO because they failed to provide justification or information that was being asked for by the ministry. But yet they chose to go on social media, blast me for not responding to an email, when in fact they were outstanding in information being asked for by the ministry. So what I did in that particular instance is ask that particular area that we're dealing with that person to reach out to them, give me clarity as to why this is happening. But again, it's outing fires as you continue to run your ministry, as you continue to serve your people and your constituency. And then what? Life still happens. So it is a balance act. Time management is key. And, but it does make a world of a difference when you do have a good support team behind you.
KY345 says the civil service policy is that emails should be responded to within 24 to 48 hours. Ask the Honorable DG if they're supposed to set aside time to respond to emails. They do not answer their phones either. And we know sometimes that happens. You call certain government departments, the phone rings for years. Tricia says, let alone experience this class at all. When you call many entities in government, no one wants to be accountable and no one has the right information. Oh, Lord God, even immigration. Johan says, Denny, none of your questions or statements are ever straightforward because you all, because you all, full debate mode, etc. Too much long talking. Lord have mercy. Real Towner says, have you reached out recently to Marcy or anyone from Points? Yes, I just said that last week. I think it was Tuesday maybe, or Wednesday at the latest. I sent them an email. No acknowledgement of my email whatsoever, them and the ministry. A slew of questions. Nothing. What I can tell you is that her position, let me just go back to this, because I think this is one of the questions that we got last week, how long she was sitting there collecting a salary. And so someone was reminding me that she was hired on Monday, July the 10th, 2023, being in a full salary facility that then opened in December 2024. So a year and a half later, she was collecting a salary for a year and a half. Let's say the last 3 to 4 months, she was actively working. That is still a lot of time.
But remember, that was based on dates that were given to us that we should have gotten a certificate of occupancy.
I fully understand.
What you put, is it a chicken before the egg? I mean, it was a delicate something.
But
and
listen, maybe this is where, civil servants got to think outside the box. Mm-hmm. You offer her the position, she accepts it, but the start date is contingent on the opening of the facility. Yeah. So you don't you don't move her to Cayman and bring her here when you don't have a CO anywhere near being in your hand.
Remember then the operational plan, doing the job descriptions and all that sort of stuff, from what I understood, she was instrumental in doing as well. Because nothing like that was in place.
Yeah, that's why she can now hire her own stepdaughter, of course. I'm just saying. Doing job descriptions and operational planning and stuff like that, honey child, don't take that much time, not a year and a half.
No, I'm just saying, because we were going based on the timelines that were given to that. And that is why I said, look, publicly, you will never get me saying another opening date, because that was 3 times that I had given dates and they just did not make it.
So let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen, now after the facility was open, obviously you were not there at this time, but have you ever seen within government after project, because this is part of project management. Listen, I've taken a few project management courses. I've always wanted to get PMI certified, actually. Do you see them going back and doing a proper evaluation on where things went wrong, what caused the delays, what caused the over budgeting, and all of this stuff, to say, okay, for the next project, these are the lessons that we learned and how we're going to ensure that this doesn't happen again? Are you aware of that happening?
I do. I know that it was discussed while I was there, because we realized this could never, ever be repeated again. Now, whether they do a full-fledged part of what not to do, that would come now that I'm no longer there. But I can assure you this much. During the time that I was there, and how even some of the works were tendered out, I know they made a huge mistake there, and that will never be repeated again, where, for example, plumbing was subcontracted out to, let's say, 6 different plumbing companies. So you had 6 different levels of plumbing works that were done. I'm just using that as an example. And that had steered away from normally how other projects were managed. So that I know I overheard in discussions being had. But yes, if it's one project that should be used of an example of what not to repeat again, this should be case study A.
And
Poinciana.
Let me tell you something. You might not even realize this, but this is not case study A. We had the same thing with Clifton Hunter. We had the same thing with John Gray. It's every single government project.
But the power of media was not this powerful. So now we are really getting people that are in tune with this particular project. If you really delve into that, oh my God, that probably even worse.
Of course, because those facilities, we know at least with I think it's John Gray campus and the other one, are not even worth what government built them for. I haven't quite seen this happen before, but they're worth less on the books than they should be. So that's a sad indictment on us, really, as a country. We're wasting money. Sure,
based on what I'm feeling and what I experienced while in post, there's some things that happen on this project that will never, ever happen again. Lesson learned.
We'll see. We'll see if any lessons are really being learned, because I'm not convinced.
I think everything will be outsourced now.
Someone said this, which I thought is a very, very interesting point. This person says, in relation to Deputy Governor Sandra, he has to say they're good. If not, it reflects bad on him. So it will require him to ensure accountability, which could mean dismissal for non-performance. A fisherman never says that his bait is stink. Interesting. Wow. This one is kind of sad. I hope everyone realizes that the shortcomings that are highlighted with the HSA are similar right across the entire civil service. The whole system is broken, but worse, it appears unfixable. Oh my God, there has to be hope to fix this hot mess. Jesus, please. We're praying for some kind of deliverance here. Cayman Brock, the best island, says Sandra, there's too much thought for those don't know any shit and how to do it. Civil servants in the ministry. The airport still leaks. Wow. No way. Damien says it comes back to nepotism again and again, and another form of vote buying with contracts. Cayman Gem says John Gray High School campus does not even have a separate canteen area. I don't know who does this building, who does their building, but it's shit. Well, they do it based on what they sign off on. That is why the project in Cayman Brac is going to be another hot mess as well. I mean, we don't seem like we're learning. That's the problem. That's my biggest concern here. Is I don't know where the lessons go, where they get packed away. Real Town, that's a stepdaughter, WTF. That's a conflict of interest in any workplace. It should not be allowed. All right. In the final analysis, let's go ahead and wrap this up. This is where I stand personally on these things. Sad for you, Lizette, but you got to go. Somebody said, please don't forget Dr. Jefferson, got to go. And whoever else in management at HSA, got to go. Let's do a management suite. The board also has their neck on the line. And a lot of people are of the opinion that the board has got to go as well. Minister. In addition to that, I was actually talking about Kathy. I hope that minister. Oh
God. Automatic. Went right back into that role.
I know. And then Poinciana Rehabilitation Center, Miss Marcia's got to go. Stepdaughter got to go. All of the sexual harassing men have got to go. A lot of the expats that we've hired for no good reason. See when their contract expires and do not renew it. Put your Caymanians in there. And Caymanians, when you get in there, run a good, clean ship. Because that whole place needs straightening up now as well. Maybe they need to revisit allowing that NPO to come in and set up shop and stop talking foolishness about, you can't make a change to the business concept, the business plan. Listen to me. We make changes when we want to make changes. We have a minister, the former Premier Juliana O'Connor Conley, who did not have a business case that supported the building of the Brac School, and she did it anyway. No business case. So changing a business case to something that would be more in favor of a workable solution, I'm going to say is something that can and should happen. Let me make an announcement. This person says, not if they give it to PWD and AAA Construction. We do have a wallet that has been found for a gentleman. Let me see his name now. Hold on one second. Mr. Hold on a second, honey, chill. Got so many messages. I'm trying to find it again. Oh Lord, where the wallet gone now? Oh gosh, they sent me his picture too, you know. Oh, hold on. Mr. Oh yes. Where the hell the wallet gone? Oh my God, hold on. Was it an Instagram message? Oh yes, here it is. Mr. Charles Best. Anybody knows Mr. Charles Best? Your wallet has been found, sir, including your driver's license. So Mr. Charles Best looks like an older gentleman. Please reach out to us. We do have your wallet, Mr. Charles Best. Well, we don't personally have it, but we know who has it, and we can reunite you with your wallet. If you know Mr. Charles, please have him reach out. All right, good news. Missing dog named Molly, a senior dog, was located. The person says, good morning. Just wanted to say a big thank you for posting Molly. She's been located and returned home safely. Thanks again for your help. and everyone that reached out. So that was in West Bay off of Watercoast Road. My sweet Molly's back home now. She's a senior dog. So that's really, really important that she's with her family. So thank you to all of you that made that possible. Okay. Sabrina, thank you so much for joining us. I saw somebody saying, boy, this show hotter than hot when Sabrina on here too. Oh God. We'll do it every once in a while. I'll come on your show.
Co-hosting
I know. Mm-hmm. There's so many times we can talk all day because now there's two of us.
What a mess.
But thank you.
I'm just here for context. I'm here for sitting in a position and for, you said it quite well. We're not coming after anyone. We're educating and just bringing the processes and how things work and chain of command and all that to the public space. But it's amazing. You said it well, Sandra. Some people will never, ever not see me in that role. Even though I've embraced this next chapter of mine, there is a reason why I'm here at this time. So it's going to be interesting how this continues to evolve.
Yeah, you're right where you're supposed to be, girl. What is that yellow book that you have? Oh, that's your did you read it for the benefit of my listeners?
I didn't pull one for today. It says make every day a positive one. Oh. And I usually just leaf through it and pick something to read. Let me read this one. It says, don't be passive when you need to be active. Don't just imagine yourself living more fully. If you want to change and be a better you, it's time to turn off any old excuses and embrace new possibilities. Do what will make the future for you so happy about the love you've decided to show yourself and the wonderful plans you've put in place. Be a person who makes a point of living more fully and who, when waking up in the morning, has a lot more smiles to greet the day.
I like
that. You go. That was funny how I just leafed to that one.
Yeah. So I have one. I used to read these and then I don't know why I kind of stopped, but I really enjoy these and these are so good that I'm going to share one of these as well because I haven't done one in a while, but your positive messages is reminding me. Caller, good morning.
Good morning. Just saying hi. Good morning to you too.
She's awoken, Miss Lucille.
I'm here listening. Don't have too much to say this morning, but if you need to haul them out or pull them out or call them out or do whatever, do on the speaking fact and the truth. And they say the truth will set you free.
That's right.
I have a pain in both of my legs this morning. I just got this little phrase to tell you to say, I don't feel like I'm getting older. It's more like my warranty has expired and my parts are worn out.
Thank you, my dear.
Some people might take that in a wrong context, but I don't care.
No. That's a good one.
I don't care where they take it. I mean the legs and the arms and the back. I don't mean nowhere else. But some bad mind people will take it in the wrong
Good
way.
afternoon, Dirty Sandra.
I know. Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. So this one says, Ms. Marjorie says that you're certainly educating me. So listen to this one. This is a site called dailyohm.com. Check it out. Very, very good ones. And every day they post a new one during the week, right? So listen to this one. This one says, I'm sorry, I had a piece of breadfruit I was chewing on. Neuroplasticity for healing trauma. Through the science of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and rewire itself, we're able to create new pathways that support healing, safety, and ease. Sometimes it isn't just one big event that overwhelms us. It's the quiet buildup. Boy, this is a lesson for government right here too. The small shocks, the emotional letdowns, the stress we try to push through just to get through the day. Over time, these experiences accumulate in the body like layers of dust on a shelf. You may not notice at first, but eventually they may show up as chronic pain, fatigue, brain fog, or a sense that something in you is always weary, even when nothing is wrong. The body always remembers. Long after the moment has passed, The impact of stress or trauma can linger without us realizing it, silently shaping how we think, feel, and respond to the world. But there's the hopeful part. The brain and body are pliable. Through the science of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and rewire itself, it's possible to soften these patterns. Gentle, consistent practices that engage breath, movement, sound, and awareness can help create new pathways that support healing, safety, and ease. There is no quick fix, but with mindful practices, we can find our way back to peace and calm. Healing doesn't always look like doing something. Sometimes it looks like doing less with intention. Wow, that's powerful. When we offer the nervous system these small, repeated signals of safety, we nurture our well-being and bring ourselves back into balance. So stress, anxiety, and past experiences no longer control how we feel. That's amazing, huh?
That's deep.
Very.
Yep.
So I think that you could even apply that to our government. You know, if we keep doing the same things and we're not making, sometimes it's not the big ripple, it's not the big change. It is the little mindful practices, the consistent change. So if we have civil servants this morning, you're listening to this message and you feel kind of downtrodden a little bit, you know, make a little change responding to your emails in a more timely fashion. These are the things that people, you know, really appreciate. It's the tiny little things. And take a break. That's why I'm going on vacation next week. I'm going to take the week off. I'm going to enjoy family time. I'm going to lay out by the pool. I'm going to, you know, eat a little bit more. I'm going to get exercise. Hopefully, kind of taking some Voltaren for the knee now. Shout out to Dr. Sydney. He's like, child, try some Voltaren for that knee. And so far, the first couple of days, I'm pain-free. Oh, so I'll finish the prescription. But yes, you know, we have to be mindful of these things kind of creeping up on us. Stress has a way of doing that. And we have to find a way to combat it. So Sabrina's show is on at 5:00 this evening. Please tune in. She's still contemplating whether or not she's going to start to do a full 2-hour show going until 7 p.m. Because I must tell you, 6:30, she's like, oh my God, it's 6:30 already? The time does go very, very quickly. So Jim Norris says, an entire week without Sandy. Oh no. You guys will be fine. We're going to all recenter ourselves, a time to de-stress a little bit and just kind of take it easy.
Detox a little bit.
Detox, yes. Detox is good. Addictions are not good. Don't be addicted to me. So yes, I'll be back the week of, I think that's going to be August the 4th, actually, because this month is pretty much gone already. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to not having to get up in the mornings. I can cuddle with hubby a little bit, you know. Oh gosh, it's the little things in life.
The wonderful things in life.
Yes.
Mystery loves company. That's why you pull me out of mine.
Yes. So that's the plan. So
yeah, good for you.
Yeah. So
I enjoyed the rain yesterday.
Oh, yes. You know, the funny thing is, though, it didn't rain so much in the Savannah Newlands area, but over Cayman Bay, it was pouring. I was like, wow.
We had a downpour like after 3-4 o'clock. Ooh, that was nice.
Well, we got some last night. I heard it as I was going to bed last night. It was trickling down.
Yep.
So
I really enjoyed that. I don't like the frogs, though, but yeah, I guess I'll have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate those.
I know. All right, so folks, tomorrow's show, remember Health City is on their summer break. So tomorrow I'm actually going to play an interview that I did. It's been over a month now, so I really want to share it with you guys, with the Beacon Farm folks. You know, we like to check in with them every so often and see how they're doing. I do have an editorial that I'm going to be posting today on Cayman Prep, another one. Listen, we get them, we post them. And that'll be a point of discussion. I suppose the Cayman Prep folks will be all up in arms about that as well. So yeah.
Good.
What a mess.
Building up to your vacay, and I'm
Yes,
building up
girl.
to my next show. Yeah.
I know. What do you have on this week? Can you
We're
clue us
gonna
in a little bit?
we're gonna yeah. I know it became very topical, and it still is topical in regards to sustainability, but from the perspective based on an article, I think that Compass is listening to our show that we brought up about food and all of that sort of stuff. And I mean, they did. I'm going to call it what it is. You give Jack his jacket. They did a very good article that aligned with exactly what I was saying, how important it is with us being dependent on the United States and how much our imports is on food. And remember that tied in with the 49th conference, CARICOM conference that was had, and how the Eastern Caribbean countries are actually planning together to look at other sustainable ways and other avenues for food security. So it's a very good read. I think I'll bring that up. Let's try to go into that article some more because we started it. Their article came out after I brought it and tied into national security as well, which was something I delved into during the campaign trail. So it's amazing, even the impacts of fast food and the cost of access to food. And then based on the commentary as well, Caymanians not feeling that they're able to really live here and they want it done right now. This is what you have to do to make it cheaper for me to go to the till, easier access for me to get housing and to be able to get a mortgage. These all ties into the quality of life and has an effect on our mental psyche. So I think I'll just go into that, dissecting that as well. And I will encourage all of these listeners to participate in that because we want to hear it from you. I mean, it is real how much we import from the United States.
Absolutely.
What happened if that is severed? What are our contingencies? And I know there's been a request for the Minister of Agriculture to come on board. Publicly put it out there. I'll do a formal invite in writing. Let's see.
And maybe invite some of the grocery store people on. I know Woody Foster is always open to having a conversation because I think from their perspective, it would be interesting to hear what they have to say as well.
I would love to. So I would love to. Yeah. Let's see what we can pull off here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, again, 5 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. Sabrina Speaks is on. Please tune in. It's always a very interesting and engaging conversation. I wanted to say a big shout out to two civil servants, two very long serving civil servants that work with sort of agencies. So one works with the Cayman Islands Turtle Center. And he has been there for, I think it's 39 years. So big congratulations, to this gentleman here. He's been with the Turtle Center now for Benny Ebanks. He celebrates 39 years at the Cayman Islands Cayman Turtle Center. And then also a big shout out to Miss Patsy Cottrell. Patsy has been, girl. She's been at Cayman Airways. Let me see if I can grab a quick picture of her. Patsy has been at Cayman Airways for 45 years. Can you believe it? Yes, girl. So Patsy apparently at the age of 16 basically rolled right out of high school and right into Cayman Airways. And she has been there. She has been there ever since. So Patsy, what an amazing journey that has been for you over the years. So congratulations on you on celebrating your 45-year work anniversary with our national carrier. So many people appreciate, the excellent service that Patsy has provided over the years.
Yeah. Cornerstone, boy.
Yep. So congratulations to her as well. Gosh, at this point, she could have been a darn pilot.
You're right.
45 years later, but providing good customer service, excellent customer service. And she really gets things done. If you know Patsy, that is her MO. And I can tell you that we posted a little message, congratulating her. And oh my gosh, the last time I checked, I think it had like 500-600 people congratulating her on a job well done.
Yep.
So this is amazing. And, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want to see our civil servants excelling. None of us are here to beat down on civil servants and to make them feel like they're not doing a good job. Those of you who, have a little issue here and there, we really just ask for you to step up to the plate. Oh my gosh, we have 2 more callers. Let's take the overseas caller first. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Let's take the young lady first. Go ahead. Miss Lucille, that's you?
Yes, that's me. I'm looking at Patsy.
1 second,
Let I tell you something. She's a wonderful girl. I miss her around the airport when I used to be there. We used to have the best fun. If you meet her anywhere, give her a hug for me.
Oh, we will.
Please.
Oh, yes, I will.
Okay, love.
Thank you so much, Miss Lucille. Okay, dear.
Okay,
all right, bye-bye. All right, and we have a gentleman on the call. Yes, good morning, sir. Hi there.
Not hearing anything, Sandra.
Oh, hold on. About your pension with Fidelity. Hold on now. One second. They're saying they're not hearing you. So give me one. I'm still on the radio. Is that okay? Because you're still on it. I'm on air. Are you wanting to call me privately? Let me try to figure out why we're not hearing him. Yes, sir. You can go ahead. I'm going to try to just resolve the audio issue. Yes, there's been some changes between Fidelity and Proven. Yes, that's correct. So you can't get a hold of anyone at Proven. You can't get through to anyone there. All right, just obviously they're not going to tell me any of your personal information as such, but if you send me your name and the best way for them to contact you on the WhatsApp, let me see if I can reach out to someone at Proven and have them contact you. And this is in reference to your pension when you lived in Cayman. For over 2 years. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see what we can do. Yes, sir. I understand. Thank you so much. Okay, sir. Thank you. Just send me your full name and I'm going to try to reach out to them today for you. All right. Okay. You're welcome, dear. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Could you hear him towards the end there, Sabrina?
Nothing.
Nothing. All right. I'm going to try to restart the computer because for some reason those WhatsApp calls are not coming through there. Oh my goodness. What a mess.
Look at that. You get everything on this show.
Girl, he's been trying to get through for quite some time. Over 2 years now with Fidelity, aka Proven, his pension, and he can't get through to anyone. Wow. So Abby, I'm not off yet. We still got this week. I think I'm off on Friday. I might take Friday off just to make sure I don't leave my passport home, but we'll be back here tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. So keep tuning in. Tune in at 5 o'clock for Sabrina Speaks. Sabrina, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I hope that I'd be able to hold it down best as I can as I continue to develop the Sabrina Speaks show and get some good topics and guests on board while you're, yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to remind me before I go away, I need to show you how to do the Instagram bit yourself as well.
Okay.
So I'm gonna bring you up to speed on how to stream on Instagram because it's all gonna be your responsibility as of Friday because I won't be here.
No pressure. None at all. You see that laugh? You hear that laugh?
What they say, sink or swim. I threw you in on the deep. Oh, you've been doing good, girl. You've been doing good.
You did.
All right, folks.
All
Tune
right.
in 5 o'clock. Thank you, Sabrina. Have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful day. Happy Monday, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.